Yo, what is up, RotoGrinders? Dean here. That's Dean7904 if you want to get all technical on me. Hopefully, we're taking down some contests with that name at the top of Fanduel, top of DK. It's a Monday, not a big boy slate, but nine games, I believe, going down. Joining me today, you know him from such things as the Morning Grind. I guess you know both these guys from the Morning Grind. You know him from NASCAR. You know him from Frolf or disc golf. That's probably more the correct way. That's a professional way of saying it. And Stevie, like 12 seconds before we went on air, he kind of looked up from his phone or whatever, and he dropped an expletive. He said, "What the F is that on your face?" And then he goes, "Stevie, is this fake or is it not fake? What do you think? Is this a prop? What's going on here?"
Dude, it looks awful. I really hope it's fake. Okay, so I was listening to music before the show. Little Panic at the Disco, and I looked up, and that's awful.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. It's a lot of things.
Like, did you dye it? Like, it was really white.
Yes. Yeah, and I was just curious to see.
And like, you have pictures at like Grant's wedding with that thing on your lip, like. Dude.
I'm not sure if it's better or worse.
Stevie says you have pictures at the wedding with that thing on your lip as if it's like an accessory. This is so funny right now.
It's like a monocle. I'm just wearing it. I'm accessorizing.
Like when you talk to like your mom or like FaceTime people, like they don't like.
God, what is that?
Yeah, I know. Like.
I don't know.
You know who your real friends are? Or those are the ones who tell you, like, what is going on? That is a mess. Like, what are you doing?
We're friends. It's awful. Like, I'm just straight up going to tell you, it looks terrible. It's time. Like, Grant's wedding's over. It's time. Like, do you need me to drive to Miami and that for you? Like,
I'm actually I'm actually at Grant's place. Grant's dog is like right next to me. Within like an arm's length. Yeah, I'm still hanging out in Colorado, taking advantage of the sports betting here. By the way, shout out to Massachusetts. They passed sports betting late last night, middle of the night. So congratulations to them. I don't know when that's going to be ratified and all that good stuff, and goes through all the rights. You know, the right people got to sign off on it. But sports betting will be coming to Massachusetts. One more state down.
Chief, we know that dog looks at Dean and he's like, "Oh, look, bone on the lip," and he tries to bite his lip, right? Like,
it's not good, man. It's not. It's Chief Justice, you know from such things as the prop shop. You always pumping out. What videos do you do weekly? I see you always popping up on Twitter. Sometimes it's Monkey Knife Fight. Oh, tell the people what you're doing.
Yeah, Monkey Knife Fight is in full effect right now. So that's what we've got going on, and a slightly different format than Prize Picks, but nevertheless, it's still props. Underdog is still props, Betches props, Sleepers props. It's all props. You find good lines, you take advantage of it, and you go from there.
So tell the people about the prop shop, by the way. How do they find that? Anybody can join. We have some premium Discord channels. Some are free, some are premium. This happens to be a free one. Tell the people what goes on in there and how they can find it.
Yeah, man. RotoGrinders Discord, Chiefs Prop Shop. It's in there. Definitely worth the price of admission, I would say, which is the 5-finger discount, which is free. A lot of good minds in there. Stevie posts. I post. Britt will come in and post from time to time. Brevs is in there. It's a real fun place, and a lot of RG subscribers are really good at the prop game, believe it or not. So if you really want to see some of these great minds in full effect, just hop in the prop shop. We had Steve and I were talking about last night. If you weren't in the prop shop for golf last week, you just don't understand how crazy it was. Real good week for golf last week. So thanks to everybody in the shop that hangs out and gives their time, gives their efforts, and hopefully their bank accounts are rewarded on a daily and weekly basis. We've got another coin prop shop phrase that says, 1K a day keeps the 9 to 5 away. So might not be 1K a day for everybody, but hey, a few extra dollars a day, man, can kick that 9 to 5 to the curb if that's something you're looking for. Doesn't have to be, but that's definitely one of our mantras, if you will. So head on over to the prop shop. Let's make a few dollars.
I should read this promo because the single entry series, the FanDuel sponsored, or the RotoGrinders sponsored single entry series on FanDuel, new one starts up this week. There's 2 going down. The $2, I'm not allowed to partake, but the $2 one's going down, and the $100. And the reason why I want to knock this out right away is because these are about to fill, and they're going to be filling quickly. I know last week, whenever we would read the promo or Roth will talk about it, it's already gone. Single entry series, there's the added value, $50,000 in added value. If you win, you get to the finals. I believe it's going to be 8 finalists. The top one there, we get $10K in Chicago. They're not taking stuff out of this prize pool. It's just a standard single entry contest, but additional value on top. Your top 4 scores throughout the week, starting today, Monday through Sunday. Your top 4 scores, whoever finishes first, will win a trip to Chicago. I believe it's the 9th next month, I want to say. So look, there's 14 spots yet to be claimed in the Upper Deck single entry series there, the $100, about 400 as far as the total contestants. So again, if you want to partake in that, I'm in there. That's my favorite contest today on FanDuel, not even close. I suggest you do so. If you don't want the big boy, the $2 one's available. There's about 600 spots remaining there too. But again, if you want to play that, sign up now. Go on FanDuel. $100 one's available, $2 one, and we're starting a clean slate this week. Let's just say hello to the chat. What's up, chat? Hit that like button kindly. Subscribe, turn on notifications, all that good stuff. Started 2+ hours, taking you guys all up the lock. It's going to be SDL Cards. I believe Cards is going to be hosting. Chief Mineralogist Kevin Roth is unavailable today. I believe weather-wise, there's nothing goofy for what it's worth. Yeah, last I saw, just a couple yellows, yellow in Washington, yellow in Cleveland. The White Sox, not a precipitation, but it is going to have pretty good weather. The wind's blowing out to dead center. You also get Dave Potts, 2-time Millionaire winner, Cheeseisgood, and I believe Carty, Derek Carty, CEO of the Bat, and the Blitz coming soon. Hey, man, Chief, I was writing. I'm always one of those people that's behind on sports, because DFS, I care about today and today only mostly, and I'm not into the best ball stuff. I know a lot of people love it. But finally, I'm starting to dig into football. I wrote a team preview for the Broncos last night. I'm going to write somebody else, maybe the Raiders. I'm not going to have that conference, so I'm fully digging in as far as football. Chief, are you going to be back? Do you know, is the Blitz show going to be a thing? Are you going to be on that? Are you prepared? Are you digging in? Are you ready? It's finally, college football is this month, right? I believe.
From what I understand, I will be back for the Blitz. I sure hope so. I hate to get fired on my day off. So absolutely, I should be on there, and we're going to try to bring the heat yet again this season, help these people make some money. My plan, yet again this season, is to take down the Mlb week 1. Come out of the gate strong, take it down, and don't play any more the rest of the season. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. What's that now?
You're just going to retire? You're just going to walk off and say, that's it? I'm out of here?
No. But yeah, that's still my goal. Look, a week 1 Mlb pop, man. I feel like it would be legendary for my career. So
sure.
Hopefully I could absolutely squeeze one of those out. So I need to start sending Chop DMs right now. To negotiate with him and say, hey, Chop, whatever you need from Redbox, I got you. Just don't play NFL DFS week 1. So you can save the Mlb for the rest of us.
Has he won $1 million
peons?
Week 1 NFLs? Is that what's?
I can't remember if it's twice in week 1, but he's definitely done it in back-to-back seasons. So there you go.
Yeah, Chop, he should have his own personal red. Well, he shouldn't have Redbox at all. We always a big fan of Redbox and whatever. I don't know. He's living in the year of 2007 or something like that. When was the last time, Stevie, you went to a Redbox, if ever? You're not going to Redbox anymore, right?
Years.
Yeah. Are they still a thing? Are they still around at 7-Eleven and Walmart and stuff? Is Redbox still in existence? It's obsolete.
I saw one at Publix yesterday. So inside the store at Publix, they still had one.
I think they have video games, which you can rent like a PlayStation game or something like that. I think that's something they moved on to. But I mean, Netflix and HBO Go and Amazon Prime. I can't imagine who's staring at all those things and saying there's nothing to watch. I'm gonna put pants on and leave the house and push a couple buttons and throw in a couple bucks there. How about you, Will? You still rocking the Redbox or no?
No. Redbox is not on my agenda, but that's not a knock on Chop. Listen, everybody's got their thing. Mine happens to not be Redbox right now. I'm in the middle of not binging. It's more of a joint show. Me and the lady, we're watching a show called All Rise, and that one's pretty good. That's on Hulu because that's the only place we could get the all the seasons. So that's what we're doing, just kind of watching 2 or 3 episodes a day, enjoying each other's company. And Dean, I guess, you're doing that with Grant's dog.
Me and Grant's dog. I'm telling you, if me and Grant are falling off a cliff, I'm pretty sure me and the dog. And also, there's recency bias too. I think the dog is saving me, if that was possible. Pretty sure. We got our eye as far as the trade deadline. A lot of trades going down. Some before we even started. Of course, Josh Hader. God bless you. Trey Mancini was traded to Houston. Jose Siri traded to the Rays. Brett Phillips designated for assignment. That's a bummer. He's a fun guy. Hopefully somebody picks him up. I think I saw Jankowski was DFA'd as well earlier today. Montas was a big one for Oakland. We're still waiting on Soto. He's in the lineup right now. Theoretically, Washington, and I think they're trying to package Soto with Corbin because that Corbin contract is horrendous. But, if you want Juan Soto, you got to take this nonsense too. So we'll see how that goes down. Maybe they just play clean and maybe we get hug watch and then in inning number 5. You never really know how it's going to happen. Wouldn't be surprised if Josh Bell gets traded. Wouldn't be surprised if Nelson Cruz gets traded. JD Martinez is in the lineup there for your Red Sox, TV. What do you want your Red Sox to do? It's over, right? It's done. It's not happening this year.
I don't think I'm okay with moving JD. I would be very disappointed if Devers or Xander Bogaerts gets moved. JD, he's been dealing with so many back injuries over the years that I'm okay. I think JD Martinez is a fantastic hitter and I really like him, but I'm okay if he gets moved. At the beginning of the year, and I think most people know that listen to the morning grind, but I thought this was a rebuilding year for the Red Sox anyway. But I think Xander Bogaerts and I think Devers, 2 good players that you really don't want to move, both defensively and offensively.
Boston's a team that traditionally has not dumb players, and they, the Betts situation, what a disaster there. And if it happens again,
yeah.
If it happens, if they don't get Devers to stay and Bogaerts, I don't know how much. I guess Devers is the one you really want. If you're
Devers is like a game changer, man. I think that you pay him, you give him a big deal. I think he is a top 10 hitter in baseball. I think. Yeah, I think so. I put him right in fringy top 10.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. I don't think I put him top 5, but top 10, sure. And also,
I don't think he's top 5, but I think that's if everybody's healthy. Where do we put Mike Trout right now? Yeah, he's one of the best hitters in baseball, but would you build a team around Mike Trout right now? He can't. When's the last time he played a full season? Was it 3 years?
I wouldn't have the Angels GM do it for me. I'll tell you that much. What a disaster. They spend money too, and they just still screw things up. And the Rendon contract, and I know they've had some tragedies as well. Several players in their organization, untimely passings. But still, what a disaster. And apparently they said that Ohtani's going to stick around, and they just gave Trout, 300, 400, 500 million, a huge number. And they got him signed when he was 37, 38. And and what was, how do they describe that? They said he's got some kind of very rare back disease, which that doesn't sound very promising. Obviously, he's great for the game and you want Trout back as soon as possible, but we'll see. But there's probably no reason to rush them at this point because their season essentially is over as well. Chief, what about your Braves? You feeling good?
As good as I can, considering where we are, and Acuna coming back late, and Albie's not being around due to injury. I really can't ask for much more, considering some of our young hitters haven't played together a whole lot this season. I think Spencer Strider has been good. Obviously, everybody loves strikeouts, but if we want to stay around a long time, then we're going to need controlled strikeouts, the whole kit and caboodle, to get them to the finish line if we want to be around a long time. So all in all, I feel good about the Braves. Will we win the division this year? Probably not, but that's okay. The Mets have officially financed the World Series, and if all goes well, they probably will get there, and that's okay.
Daniel Lynch is starting for Keller. Keller was scratched. I'm not sure if he's going to get traded or what. I mean, I don't know how useful he is. Maybe some team can use him like a 4 or 5 or something like that. Daniel Lynch has not pitched since the 16th of July. Maybe he's been pitching in the minors or.
Yeah, he was sent down.
Let's see. They said he had a hand on the. Okay, so 29. So, 4 innings in AAA. So Lynch is going to be starting now. I like the over in that game. I bet the over earlier, and I think I like it just as much. But I think Lynch, does he throw from the left side?
Yeah, he's a lefty.
Yeah. All right. Interesting. Because the Royals are another. I like that game. I bet it all the overs, Stevie. I'm in Colorado right now, having a good time. Hitting the sports books, and that's one of my favorite games in the slate, which sounds kind of weird. Kansas City and Chicago, good hitting environment as well too. And we'll talk about Michael Kopech, but he has been incredibly fraudulent. You talk about the regression monster. I don't know if the Royals can summon it because the Royals are terrible, but it's coming soon. Maybe it's coming tonight. We shall see. What's your thoughts as far as guys getting traded and Hug Watch and how we handling that? Do you care? Or just there's a chance Soto gets traded in the 6th inning. That's possible. I don't know if I would refuse to play him for that reason. He's still awesome, right? And there's some leverage there against Max, and I think you actually play him together. I don't think that's crazy. But your approach, and again, we're going to keep our eye on some scratches because you have to imagine a couple more are coming.
Yeah, I mean, if they're in the lineup at lock, what that's all I got. I mean, we're not GMs. We don't know what's going to happen. And I think a lot of moves are, going to happen pregame. Guys might be Baez not in the lineup today. That could be someone that's potentially getting moved. Like you said, though, I don't think anybody really wants his contract. So, I mean, just overall, I don't let it affect my lineup building. I just kind of build out guys that are in the lineup and pay attention to scratches. And if they start the game, that's all I can ask for. If I lose out on a guy getting traded mid-game, I move on to the next day or hope one of my other teams goes off. I mean, a 0 is not necessarily going to make it where you can't cash either, even though it sucks. You
have a similar thought, Chief?
Yeah, pretty much same thing.
All right, so I kind of referenced Max Scherzer. It's a slate where there's no incredibly, there's not this great offense jumping off the page. Biggest team total on the board, I believe. Let's scroll. And last I saw, the Yankees were at 5.2. Cleveland at 5 on the dot. We have Houston at just 4.24, so it seems kind of low, to be honest to me. Chicago creeping up to 5. Kansas City just above 4. I guess and the Dodgers are on this slate. Nobody's going to play the Dodgers. By the way, I know this is another bet I made earlier today. What do you think the odds were? Freddie Freeman against anybody in any ballpark. What's the worst odds should be on a Freddie Freeman homer, Stevie?
The worst odds?
How bad can the odds, it's not just horrible matchup. It's not, it's not a great matchup. Webb's a good
3-1, 2-1,
8-1.
Oh, I mean, that's solid.
I felt like I had to bet it. I
was the opposite of what you were thinking.
Yeah. I was going the other way on it. I bet it at 8-1 because, I mean, look, 8-1, Freddie Freeman against anybody, 8-1. He's going to get 4 or 5 at bats. I'll take my chances and whatever. I'm probably going to lose, but I would probably lose any day. If he hits one, I might as well get paid off on it. 8-1 just seemed a little bit too good for me.
I feel like if you take him against a tough pitcher 8-1, 8 times, you're going to at least hit once or twice.
Yeah, and there's a bullpen too, right? I know the ballpark's not great either, but I see Herbert Good in chat. Shout out to Herbert Good. You guys know you guys aware of the Beat Mean Dean contest that I run on occasion? You guys aware of this or no?
No.
So
on Fridays, right?
Yeah. Typically on Friday. Oh, there's Kirkwood in chat too. He doubled down.
Can I play in the contest next week? And if I win, you have to shave your whatever that rat thing on your lip is.
It might be gone by then, to be honest.
It's a mate coat that got stuck to the top of Dean's lip because he had some.
It looks like a rat tail that's been cut off and put on his lip. That's what it looks like, a rat tail.
TJ Musamanzada, which is a great name in chat, says, how can anyone take Dean seriously with that guitarist from Blue Oyster Cult look? That is a deep cut, man. Blue Oyster Cult's from the 80s, aren't they? I believe so. Anyways, my latest victim is Herbert Good. I'm undefeated. Still, I'm like Joe DiMaggio over here with my streak. I've still yet to give out. Basically, you call me out. I put a tweet out there. You answer the tweet. You call me out. You say, this is the reason why you should take me. And I appreciate those of you that have participated, haven't been selected yet. We're going to run it back. We'll run it back this week for sure. I'll send out a tweet in a couple of days, and we'll see how that goes down. But if I select you, Stevie, you get not 1 week, not 2 weeks, not 3. You get a month, an entire month free of RotoGrinders Premium. And now we're in the area where you get like probably some college football stuff. You'll get some NFL preseason. You get everything with the exception. What's the one thing you don't get, Stevie? You know what it is?
Yeah, that NASCAR content.
Whose fault is that? Like, it's so I'm like, yeah, you get this sport. Oh, then they always have to drop the qualifier. Well, you can't get NASCAR. That's its own thing. So
I mean, it pays for itself. It probably pays for itself and RG Premium. I think we've had 8 people hit 100K plus this year. So I mean, it pays for itself.
And yeah, Herbert's right. We're basically playing low ball. I'm not proud of my score. We both were terrible. But what is the saying?
Can we make it a 3-man and I get to play this week too? And if I win, you have to shave. Like that should be a thing. Like,
well, I mean, yeah.
I don't even play DFS baseball on Fridays because I'm prepping for NASCAR. Like, so I'll be building with no research on Friday.
But it's not fair to the other person though, because the other person, they typically theoretically.
No, but if they beat you, they still get the premium. I just want to play against you, and if you lose, then you shave. If I lose, I shave.
What? Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, full shave, and we do a show on Mondays, so I'll shave on like Sunday.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that. Okay.
I have to clear that with my wife though. She does
she
not like the baby face.
You had me at the end. I was roped in.
Listen, Dean doesn't understand.
You know what? Let's do it. I don't care.
Well, no, I don't want you to get in trouble with your wife. I don't want.
I'm waiting for a text message. I know it's coming. What are you in there talking about? About shaving your face off?
The thing with you is you're so masculine. You can grow that back that's like 2 days work, right? How long does that take?
No, it takes a couple weeks.
Okay, but still, yeah, that's.
It looks awful too, man. I'm fat, so like when I'm full like clean shave, I got like that fat baby face. Oh, it's awful.
Chief, you went on in what are you putting on the line, Chief? Put those chips in the line.
I mean, look, I can always ship some chips if that's what you want.
I
in Colorado.
If you want in, you gotta, how long does that take you? What are you working there with that beard? Does that take a while?
If I got a haircut today, by next week it'd be because mine isn't. Well, I mean, I guess it is full now, but I usually keep mine semi-low.
Yeah.
I keep it dark, but I don't keep it all the way out. So it grows back pretty fast. So I wouldn't, this wouldn't bother me as much, but it probably would bother the little lady though, because she actually likes me with my beard too, Stevie. So that's what I'm saying. Dean doesn't understand this. Like,
well, no, someone in chat posted you got to clear with the boss. Like knowing that your wife is the boss is the first step to a healthy marriage. Just saying. Let's talk baseball. We have been talking nonsense for 24 minutes. Pitching, Dean. We'll start with Max Scherzer. Like, let's get this show on track because chat's over there. Like, we're not getting any likes on YouTube. We have to look at your rat stash, and
we're getting thumbs down. I assume.
So, okay. I have a legit question for both of you. I know you're the host, but I have a legit question for both of you. With Kevin Ross' recent update to New York, Washington, what are we doing with Scherzer on this slate?
Well, what's his recent update? All I see is
it's yellow with a storm moving through DC during the game that could or could not hit and cause a delay.
Okay.
Come on, it's Washington. You know what to do.
I know. That's why I'm nervous.
Well, then once the game starts, it's out of the control of Washington. It's on the control of the umpires, so that they can't make the decision anymore. For the
right? No, yeah, for sure.
I just dropped the link in chat for the people they want to read it themselves. But despite the low storm chances from the National Weather Service, the HRRR, a high-res forecast model, has a storm moving through DC during the game. It's probably just as likely to miss the ballpark as it is to hit, but the chances for a delay is there. Great. That's not good. But like he just puts it at yellow though. Yellow doesn't sound. I mean, I don't know what he's up to, if he's doing things, if he's going to be able to give us an update later on. Hopefully he usually tweets something out. I don't know how available he is, but I want more information the closer we get to lock, and I'll figure it out. But obviously taking a 0 from your pitcher is not ideal.
I mean, with Scherzer's price and his ownership, like if he gets through 4 innings and the rain hits and he doesn't come back out, like you're not getting there. So he did post on Twitter. That's where I actually saw it. Was he tweeted this out? He said, "Chance for a delay in Cleveland and Washington. I'll post an update as I look at the radar closer to first pitch."
Yeah. So right now I'm not freaking out about it. And like the other part is I said 0. Like he probably goes a few innings, right? And then maybe he gets the hook. And sometimes they come back. Like veterans will sometimes come back if the delays is an hour, hour and a half, that kind of thing. You know, if it's longer than that, they're not going to push it with rookies. You never really know. But I'm going to work on the assumption that he's good to go right now. And for me, Chief, he's like the clear best pitcher on this slate. It's not even close. I'm going to say he's got the highest K rate. I don't care that he's got a higher K rate. He's done that like in 19 innings, and he doesn't really count. He's not going to go beyond like 5 innings or maybe 5-ish, and not going to throw more than like 85 baseballs. But yeah, max 32.6% as far as the K rate. He's got the lowest Sierra, the second lowest walk rate. This Washington lineup, which again still may change, wouldn't surprise me. We'll see. Stay tuned on that. Now the tricky part is they're pretty contact heavy, which is annoying. The ballpark's not spectacular, but you got to hit it as well in Washington. Chief, your thoughts as far as Max? Is he for you also the clear number 1 pitcher on this slate?
No, actually, and that's got nothing to do with Max's skills. It's got everything to do with this price and everything else I want to get accomplished on this slate. So in terms of skills for me, absolutely Max is number 1. But for me, I'm probably going to side with John Gray. I'm going to take my discount and roll him out there tonight against Baltimore at home. And so Gray is going to end up being, where I kind of get rolling here, especially on DK at 9,700. I'm not playing Andrew Haney. I'm just not doing it. So Gray for me he's kind of my top play tonight overall. And then, we'll just kind of move it along from there. There's, one cheap guy that I think, we'll all have some interest in. So I'll probably get a little exposure to him. But all in all, Gray is my top play because I think the better matchup has a fairly long leash most games. So I really like him a lot.
Yeah, Gray prefers as many righties as possible. They are starting off with 3 lefties on the Baltimore side. Again, they traded Mancini as well. If you're wondering why he's not in that lineup today. 5 lefties in total. Who's Valvra? Who's that? Taryn? Do we know who Taryn Valvra is? Is that a person? Taryn Valvra. I guess he's taking some at-bats to the majors. I just kind of missed this guy, but he is a lefty as well as Mateos on the right-hand side. Odor is the other lefty. Stevie, your thoughts as far as Gray? He's in the mix for the SB2 conversation for me. Luis Garcia is fine against a Boston team that better than most. This Red Sox team, it's more of a name brand. They're not very good. They're without Story. They're without Devers. I know JD's in there for now, but that lineup is not scaring me at all. I like Scuba a little bit more of the absence of Buxton. No Buxton in that lineup today. Domingo Herman's a cheap we can talk about as an SB2, kind of open things up. You want to spend on some bats. But the other arm is Clevenger. Clevenger against Colorado. Colorado outside the court. Pretty putrid. Their lineup's not out just yet, but spoiler alert, it's going to be bad. Stevie, where do you have Gray amongst all the other dudes that, he's in that second mix for me.
Assuming the weather is okay, I have Scherzer, big gap. John Gray would be second for me. I like John Gray a lot tonight. Mancini getting moved. I mean, I don't even know. Does it help? Does it hurt? Mancini is a guy that strikes out, but he also has some power. The bottom half of this lineup, there's just a ton of strikeouts, very little walks in this lineup. So John Gray has returned to form. He's healthy, and as long as he's healthy and pitching well, his stuff just looks awesome this year. He's been pitching great. I think there's plenty of value on this slate that it's really easy to get Scherzer and Gray if you want to do that on DraftKings. 2 of my 3 builds have that right now. But I mean, I think clearly, like it's very clear that Scherzer is the top pitcher for me today. Talent, everything. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm looking at. I think those 2 guys, and then I think there's a pretty big gap between those 2 guys and the next pitcher.
Just looking at this Vavra character, I'm curious who he is. Not projected for a ton of Ks according to the bat. 22%. I guess that's a good number. It's not crazy high, not crazy low. In the minor leagues this year, in 208 at bats, 2 homers, 5 stolen bases, so very little pop. Willing to take a walk. I guess that's one thing he can do, but yeah, it doesn't look very good. And I don't think he's a bit of a prospect either. I don't think he's their 13th ranked prospect according to Fangraphs whenever they did the rankings. Just sort of throwing that out there. Steve, you think you like? How much have I missed it? Did you talk about Herman? Domingo Herman is a cheapie. Is like an SP2.
I mean, I like Herman. I just don't like what we're going to be looking at ownership wise.
It's up there.
I think he's going to be someone that I know we have him projected for like 15%. I think that's wrong. I think he's going to get quite a bit ownership here. I think he ends up like closer to like 20-25%. He's the clear like cheap pitcher on this slate. We don't have a lot of cheap pitching unless you go to like Kopech. There's just not really anybody else. You know, you don't want to play Patrick Corbin. Watkins against Texas is somewhat interesting. You don't want to play Sensatella. You don't want to play Davies. Aaron Sanchez is not great, but he gets Detroit, and he gets one of the best pitchers umpires in baseball. You don't want to play Mark Gonzalez. So I think like on a 2-pitcher site like DraftKings, just Domingo Herman is just going to have the ownership because there's nobody else down there. So I don't mind Herman. I just don't love the ownership for a guy. I mean, he has the talent. The offense is without Julio Rodriguez, their, best hitter by far. Winker's in there. The lineup's just not great. So, I mean, I definitely think that Herman is very usable. It's just ownership.
Kelnick is back. Like he was raking in the minors. So far, he's been like a quad A guy. Been terrible in the majors. Good in the minors. Haniger's coming back soon. I believe I saw you homered in the minors yesterday.
Friday. I think I read Friday. Like he's that close. Like it's really close. No Ty France either, by the way. Just looking at the lineup. He's banged up right now too. So 2 of their best, 3 or 4 hitters. But I will say this, right? Looking at the lineup that they rolled out there today with like Frazier, Santana, Crawford, Lewis, like we get lower strikeout upside with Herman because these guys are going to put the ball in play. They're patient. So does Herman only go 4 or 5 innings in this spot and he doesn't get there with, limited strikeouts and patient hitters? I mean, that could easily work out.
They let him go a good bit last game, but he was pitching well. What did he throw? 82 pitches in 4 2/3. I guess.
So you think 85, 90 here, probably?
I would imagine so. I'm curious what Carty has. Carty will be on later. I'm sure he'll give his thoughts on it, but I think that seems like a reasonable guess. 87 is his pitch projection, so yeah, that makes perfect sense. Not pushing him too far, but creeping up a little bit more. I think he had like 4 or 5 starts in the minors before they even called him up. For me, like my shell lineups, I just made 2, and obviously everything's subject to change, but I got to max and my SB2 was the same on DK. It was Luis Garcia in both. So, I'm fine with him. I mean, I'll throw away 1 bat or whatever. I don't say throw away, but of course a cheap bat can outscore a big bat, but I just feel better about Garcia outscoring, Herman than I do about, whatever hitter I'm getting instead of the cheap guy like a Pasquantino or a JD Davis or something like that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I like JD Davis today. We'll talk about him when we get into I just switched one of my expert survey answers to JD Davis.
What was the question?
I forget now. Let me go look. I literally just did it too. The large field salary saver, I switched from Candelario to JD Davis.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder. We'll talk about hitters in a second, obviously, but I wonder how popular Pasquantino is going to be. I think it'll be more popular on FanDuel. This week he's going to run out 2 first basemen. There's an opportunity cost of first. We're playing him on DK. He's currently in my lineup too because he's a great salary saver. He was the guy I wrote the expert survey today, and he was my favorite play to write up because he's been super unlucky, hitting the ball really hard, hitting the ball in the air. The homers are coming. I think he's got 3 in 30 games. That's not enough. He's got a ton of power. He smashed a ton of the minors. And you kind of referenced Kopech, and I was talking about how lucky Kopech has been. And yeah, his ERA this year, Kopech is 3.16, and good for him. Congratulations. but he's got a BABIP of 226, which is outrageous. That's insane. He's doing some wizardry out there. He's getting hit hard as well. His walk rate is 12.3%, 50% fly balls, and his home run the fly ball is 8.3%. Just crazy lucky across the board. And all that adds up to a Sierra, almost 2 points higher, I think. 4.85 Sierra, 3.16 ERA. Again, I don't know if I trust the Royals to finally expose him, but it's coming soon. What are your thoughts, Chief, as far as Kopech, as far as all these guys we're talking about?
Yeah, Kopech's not really, someone that's on my radar today. I think there's more upside in other spots, so he's definitely going to get the X button for me on both sites. And, I trust Kansas City enough to limit the damage. And I don't think Kopech is someone that's going to come out and win us a tournament. As Stevie and I spoke about last night, you want to take Kopech against really good teams, the Yankees, Houston. And we're laughing about this, but literally those are all his good starts. All the bad teams, he's awful. But you put him on a big stage against a really good team, and he's lighting it up. That's fake analysis. I'm just joking about that. I would not take him against a good team right now. All that to say, I'm not playing Kopech.
Yeah, they're talking about Skubal being in the trade block too, which is, didn't Detroit basically say like everybody's available? And I'm curious, what is his contract situation? Because he's young, right? I assume they have control for him for several years. Maybe not. Maybe it's arbitration stuff. Let's see. Why would Skubal be available? Okay, so they have control of him until 2027. Yeah. He's getting $713,000 this year, and he's got arbitration stuff. Like, that seems like a weird thing to do. Like, I don't know why they would move him. Theoretically, when they're good, Detroit, like in 4 or 5 years, if that's their plan, like I think they thought they're going to be kind of good this year, and they signed Erod, and they spent money on Baez, and obviously that stuff didn't work out. Get Miggy off the books as well soon, but I don't know why, but I thought I saw a note about that as well too. I saw Michael in chat mention it, and I was like, that seems strange that they would put him available, but I guess keep an eye on that. But it feels more like an outside chance to me, just logically speaking. But who knows? I'm not sure what's going on within that organization. Trying to keep an eye on other stuff. Any scratches? Let's see. Rockies lineup is out. Blackman, Iglesias, Bryant, Crone, Rogers, Grichuk, McMahon, Diaz, and Daza. What else just came out? The Padres. They're all coming out as we're on air. Let's go ahead and check and see what that was. I got a ding on my what is it? What do the kids call this? An iPad. Oh, does this look weird, by the way, with my backdrop? Is this throwing you off? Is this trip you up there, Stevie? Are you watching the picture?
No, it doesn't mess me up.
Okay. Because this is that's a green screen behind me, but this is actually real. This is nice craftsmanship too. Profar, Machado, Cronenworth, Voigt, Myers, Mazzara, Kim, Nola, and Grisham. The chat wants to know about Skubal, Chief. What do you think about Skubal tonight? And again, it's been pointed out, Buxton, they kind of rest him, obviously. He's not playing baseball tonight. That is a bump to Skubal. Is that enough of a bump to put him in the conversation for you?
I mean, I guess he could be okay. I'm just, man, I always end up on the wrong side of Skubal. And so for that reason, I think I'm just going to roll with the fade. Top of this lineup is still not striking out a ton. Polanco, Correa, Arias, Miranda. I mean, he'll have, two guys that have a fair amount of strikeouts. But all in all, this still is a low strikeout lineup, and we're going to need some upside. So I think I'm fading.
I'll give you one upside play. Mark Contreras. I don't know if he's another Contreras brother. I've never heard of this person. He's playing baseball tonight for Minnesota. Looks like he's making his MLB debut. Has he played in the major?
He's a lefty, though.
He's played. I guess he's had 10 at-bats. Okay, so 10 at-bats. I've kind of missed that. He's done nothing so far. But
he's a lefty, too. He helps Skubal.
No, that's what I'm saying. He's a lefty, and not just that. In AAA this year, striking out at 28.4%, 29.7% last year. The bat has him projected to strike out 33% in the majors. So, again, he's hitting ninth. Skubal maybe gets him 3 times, probably just twice. But, all those little edges are nice. Sanchez, again, we know the power of Gary Sanchez. He strikes out plenty. But Arise is super annoying, less than 10% as far as Ks. He'll just take those 9-pitch at bats and just, and then they'll hit a bleeder through the middle, and then all of a sudden, like your pitch count is crushed, and you didn't get any outs. Polanco's contact heavy, Correa's contact heavy, Miranda, the rookie's shown some contact as well. But it's I don't know. I mean, if I'm MMEing and I'm not, Stevie, he's in the pool, Screwball, but I'm probably not going to land on him unless like Max that gets rained out or something. But I don't anticipate that happening either.
I kind of like him. The more I look at the situation, the more that like Clevenger is going to be the chalky pitcher in this range, and I think if you want to go with the safer, higher upside plays, Garcia and Clevenger are better options than Scoble today. So I like those guys more, but the more I think about Scoble, Culpa is behind the plate. He's one of the best, if not the best. I think like he's probably the best pitchers umpire in baseball. So
Ron Culpa?
Yeah, like so he's behind the plate in this game. That's a huge bump to Scoble. The lineup doesn't look great. It doesn't look terrible. I think he's in play. Like I said though, I like Clevenger and I like Garcia more if I can afford them. But like if it's the last piece in and I like my lineup, I don't mind rolling it out there.
Yeah, 2 extremes tonight as far as umpires. Not all the games are in just yet. New series are starting, but we have Culpa, the extreme pitchers umpire for Detroit. We also have an extreme hitters umpire in that game. Hey, man, Kansas City and Chicago, it's all lining up.
It is. That game.
We got Mark Wagner, extreme hitters umpire there as well. Somebody in chat said Luis Garcia, like on the trade block, and I was like, really? That was surprising. But there is an SI article 5 days ago. The Astros are, and there's quotes, willing to trade a starting pitcher. Okay. Like he's been pretty good. I'm not really sure why would they trade Garcia unless I know McCullers is coming back soon. I think he's starting to work in the minors. But like, can you even trust that guy to be healthy once he's back? I have no idea. I missed that curveball though. He's got some nasty stuff. I don't know. I mean, again, we'll see. There's caution with a lot of stuff going down tonight. Maybe him or Odorizzi. Who's trading for Odorizzi though? Like, yeah, I mean, obviously we'll get more for Garcia, but it seems like Houston can use him. Okay, so Mr. Richard says it's because of McCullers, but I don't know. I'm not certain that he's like, I can't guarantee he's going to be healthy. Don't feel great about it. He's always injured. Anything else on the chat's mind as far as pitchers? Feel free to throw it out there. I'll do my best to, we'll have the conversation. We're plenty of time. We got this group's here for another 40-45 minutes or so until we hand off the crunch time. Crunch time is SDL cards. You got Derek Carty, you got Dave Potts. Take you guys straight up the lock. And sometimes they're not able to answer the questions from YouTube because they want to service the premium chat first. If you guys are premium members, to be in the Discord channel. That's where I presume cards will pull in those questions. So if you guys are watching YouTube, this is the best time to get your questions answered. All right. Give me a summary here, Chief, as far as pitchers.
Can we really quick? I think we should talk about Heaney really quick.
Oh, okay.
I mean, pitchers ballpark, they're going to platoon, but there's going to be still plenty of strikeouts with Slater, Ruff, and those guys. So I think Heaney is just kind of the forgotten piece. Like we almost forgot to talk about him. He's projected for less than 10% ownership. And this is a dude that can strike out 10 plus guys. So I think Heaney is another guy. I read that like he should get 10 to 12 more pitches tonight. So like if we're looking at 85 pitches, I think Heaney is just another guy that you're worth mentioning for tournaments. I didn't really like him when we did the podcast last night, but looking at his ownership and just kind of feeling this slate out, I think he's someone that's just he's on my list. I don't know if I get to him or not, but he's on my list.
He's been great in the time he's pitched. He's pitched so rare. And like you said, the main issue is him. Just one start since coming back from injury. Roberts let him go 4 innings. Didn't get in trouble at all. Well, he had 3 walks, but like 1 hit, no runs, 71 pitches, out of the game, got the hook. Didn't give him a chance to get the W. And like you said, maybe he gets extended to 85 or so. I think Carty actually has it right around there, 86. So and they're charging full price. He's 9.5 on DK, man.
No one's playing him today, though.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he can go 5 and strike out 9. Like, that's something he could do if he's efficient. Will, your thoughts as far as Heaney?
I'm not playing him either, just because I think he's limited like 70-something pitches. So that's the only reason why.
Aaron Rasmus has a question. We'll talk hitters in a second, but just Walker or Voit and Cash. And I'm not playing Cash tonight, but neither one of those kind of fit the Cash mix to me. Like, I think it's Pasquantino as the cash game first baseman or spend up to Alonso, depending on what site you're on. Yeah, they're both fine, but I don't really – if you get to pick one of those two, Stevie, is it Voit or Walker?
It would be Voit. I would – he's my home run call on the expert survey today. I think he has a good chance for a home run. But I think you're paying down. You have a $2,200 first baseman hitting fourth against a pitcher that is struggling with command. So I think you're paying down.
If you're asking questions in chat, by the way, let us know what site you're on too, because it depends. Sometimes it'll throw things off. Question in chat from Dre: best 2 pitchers for cash games. For me, I don't. The SB2 is, it could be Garcia. That he's in my main lineup right now. I think it could be Clevenger, who we didn't really talk a lot about, to be fair. I think Clevenger is another guy. I think it could be Gray. It's probably one of those 3. If you really want some bats, you can do Herman, but I don't think it's necessary. But for me, it's probably Garcia, maybe Clevenger. It's one of those 2, and then the Gray's more of a tournament guy. What do you think, Will? If you're playing cash tonight, and did I mention Scherzer? Like, Scherzer's the first one, obviously.
I mean, if I'm playing cash on DK, it's probably Gray Garcia. I think that's my cash combo.
It's not Scherzer?
No.
Okay. Is it because of the weather, or you just don't want to spend that money, or what?
No, I think Gray has more upside than Scherzer just tonight, because of the spot. Like, I know Scherzer can go out and mow down anybody, but I also want to play a lot of bats, and so I need some relief somewhere. And I don't think, and this isn't a tournament take. Like, I don't think Scherzer has as much upside tonight as everybody else.
Okay. You agree with that, Stevie?
No.
Okay.
I'm playing Scherzer in cash. I'm taking the free square. I mean, I don't mind playing Gray with Scherzer. It'd be either Gray or Clevenger with Scherzer for me, or even Herman. If you want to go the cheaper road, I think that's okay. But I think it's Scherzer, probably Scherzer Gray or Scherzer Clevenger in cash.
Stevie, I don't think we said much about Clevenger, but like, he's certainly in the mix. Tell me what you think of Clevenger against the Rockies, who aren't good.
I mean, this guy he's been dominating right-handed hitters when he's been healthy this year. This is a very right-handed heavy lineup. You got Blackman and McMahon, but overall, he's probably going to get 5 or 6 righties here. Not good righties, low walk rates, high strikeout rates. So Clevenger definitely on the list today.
Michael said the bat agrees with Chief. I'm going to run 100, optimals with add some variance into it. And again, you'll get Carty on in a bit, and he'll give his opinion as well. Now I'm curious. Why is Scherzer not? Let's max out pitchers at like 80% or so, hitters at like 80%, 100 lineups, give or take, and let's see what we get as far as our pitchers on DK according to the bat. Get yourself the bat and the blitz, which is right around the corner. I presume that's right around the corner. I haven't talked to Carty, but I imagine that's still in the works. And again, Carty will be on like 35 minutes or so, give or take, and he'll give his thoughts. And I was looking at this last night, and I was really surprised how low Scherzer was projected, but I think it changed. Maybe it got higher. I'm not certain. Let's see. We got 69% Clevenger, 64% Gray, 31 Garcia, 28 Skubal, and 5 Scherzer. Whoa, that is surprising. Hey man, that's interesting. I would love it if this pushes Scherzer's ownership down. And again, if there's kind of weather disaster of some sort coming in, obviously I'll pivot and I'll change. But as of right now, just give me the arm talent. I know Washington doesn't strike out a lot, but I'm also not certain that lineup doesn't change too. We'll see. Will, your final thoughts as far as pitchers?
It's John Gray for me. It's Luis Garcia for me. Mostly those two. Some sprinkles of Domingo German. And that's mostly it. I'm just kind of keeping it simple.
Look at that Washington lineup. Robles, 28% striking out, leading off this season. Yes, Hernandez, Soto, Bell, pretty contact heavy. Cruz can strike out a good bit, though. Hernandez as well. Ruiz, not a big K guy. Franco, not either. But, okay. Yeah. I mean, I just think Scherzer is, can overcome that and still strike out 8 or 9. We'll see. But it's a good conversation to have. Stevie, your summary as far as pitchers?
Scherzer's way up here. And then you go down a little bit, you get John Gray. And then after that, I think it's Clevenger and Garcia. Maybe a sprinkle of Scoble. And if Herman is going to be chalky, I think this is a spot to maybe just stay away. And if you want to go super crazy, take a shot on Heaney. I wouldn't talk you off of it. Right now, I have 3 lineups built. I'm 100% Scherzer, some John Gray, and some Clevenger. That's where I'm at.
Dodger lineup is out. Betts leading off. Trey Turner, Freeman, Will Smith, Lamb DHing, Lux, Muncy, Bellinger, and the rookie Outman, who banged out a homer in his very first at bat in Coors Field. I think he's a lefty also. That's what, 6 lefties in a row? Lamb, Lux, Muncy, 5 lefties in a row, right? Yeah, a lot of lefties there for the Dodgers. They kind of backload them there. And I heard a ding on my iPad, so that means that another lineup probably just came out. Oh, Alex Bregman on the paternity list. Okay. I got to adjust my lineups because I have some Houston stacks.
That's old, buddy. Diaz is hitting 4th tonight for Houston.
Did I miss that? Was he?
Yeah, that came out a while ago.
Oh, all right. Oh, you know what? Yeah. No, DK had him in. He was in the game, and then
it happened before we started the show.
I just
the Bregman news.
That's a bummer. Okay. All right, because I loved him against Eovaldi. Right on right, Eovaldi reverse splits. You know about those Crawford boxes. Yeah, my bad. All right, let's talk about stacks. Look at our consensus rankings. Myself, Head Chopper, Mr. Tuttle, Dave Potts, Cheeseisgood. We got the Yankees number 1, Will. No, we got the Mets. The Mets number 1 against Patrick Corbin. Then it's the Yankees. The Royals, I guess they're not so sneaky. The Royals are 4th. What's going on? What is that shenanigans?
Yeah, Dean, you sounded like you were inside of a submarine.
Was that me or was that you?
That was you.
Chips? That wasn't me.
That was 100% the chip bag.
That was a chip.
Yeah. that was the chip bag.
So, Will, we got Mets, Yankees, Royals, White Sox, Cleveland, Houston, San Diego. That's our consensus ranking, depending upon, some got more love than others. The New York teams, though, it's all about New York tonight. Obviously Patrick Corbin, good ballpark. We know the story there. Do you agree with that as far as stacks?
I do. However, for me, man, Cleveland's up there for me tonight. Against Zach Davies, Jesus, man. Like, this is one of those spots Cleveland goes off for like 12 runs, and they don't have the ownership as everybody else. Like, Jose Ramirez is always going to get ownership, but clearly – the Yankees are one of the top teams on the slate, so I'm in love with Cleveland here. That's my personal top stack, followed by the Yankees, followed by the Mets, followed by Houston.
We got TJ and Chad. Hey, friends, what's up, TJ? Is TJ going to drop some Spidey bombs? It's up to him if he wants to unleash some Spidey bombs to the people. Not sure where we're at as far as likes, but kindly hit that like button. Do subscribe. Do turn on those notifications. All of that is appreciated. Keeps the proverbial lights on. Tony Smith, what do y'all think about the Yankees, Dodgers, Mets money line? Do you have any takes tonight as far as gambling wise, Stevie? I don't know if you do props and stuff like that, but how about actual games? Yankees, Dodgers, Mets. Who's going to screw that parlay up?
None of them. I mean, I think I would take all 3 of those. I don't know what the parlay odds are. I don't have it pulled up in front of me either to do it quickly. But, I mean, if you like the odds on that one, I think all 3 of those are solid. I think if anybody, it would probably be the Dodgers. I like both the New York teams a lot. So I think if it's anybody, it's probably the Dodgers. And I think the Dodgers are probably what's going to give it the best kind of odds to, make it a nice looking parlay because, I mean, that game was, 130, 140 this morning? I haven't checked it lately, but.
I mean, the Mets are huge favorites. They're minus 260. The Yankees are almost minus 200. And, the Dodgers, I think, are minus 140. Webb's a pretty good pitcher, and the Giants they're going to throw a bunch of righties at Heaney. I don't, they have a good solid offense. Obviously, the game should be pretty close.
I like the idea of taking both the Yankees teams and maybe taking the over in the White Sox game at 9. That's one of my favorite bets today is the over in the White Sox game.
Yeah, not to be, that's what I've been saying the whole time. That's one of my big bets of the day is betting that game. I bet it over on all the alt lines like 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So,
man, getting excited about this White Sox game.
Well, I hate these are two terrible offenses too. When have the White Sox let us down? Oh wait, every game, right? Every game they've let us down. That's right. But I'm going right back. I don't know, man. I'm just a sucker, I suppose. But do you have a thought, Will? You probably have some player props, right? Give some player props to the people.
Absolutely. I'm kind of staying away from some of the strikeout props tonight. On the main stuff, just because everything's getting pushed now as we get down to the end of the season. There's a running joke in the prop shop called push picks. That's what they're calling prize picks now because all their strikeout lines are even 5, 6, no 6.5, no 7.5, none of that. But even still, I'm taking Marco Gonzalez, and this is something we were talking about pre-show. I'm taking him under 18.5 fantasy points. On prize picks, I think the Yankees score at least 4 runs on him, and he just doesn't have the strikeout stuff to overcome the negative earned run portion. I mean, you're getting 3 points per earned run. I think he gives up at least 4. With that being said, I'm taking the under on Gonzalez. I'm taking the over on Luis Garcia. I think Garcia gets at least 6 strikeouts in this matchup. And then I don't think Boston is going to score a lot of runs at 32.5. Basically, what they're giving us is Garcia can still give up 2 runs, go 6 innings, 6 strikeouts, and still end up with 36 fantasy points. So I feel really good about that. John Gray, kind of a similar situation. They're giving us 35.5. I don't think he gives up more than 2. Definitely think he goes 6 and probably gets 7 or 8 strikeouts. So at 35.5, for me, as long as these guys don't have meltdowns, I really like those lines. Those are kind of my top 3 in terms of just the regular lines full game. And then on some of the MLB live stuff like that, I took Marco Gonzalez over first inning pitches. I took Zach Davies coming back off the IL over first inning pitches. Just going to keep taking Aaron Judge over 1.5 bases every day. I took Jose Ramirez over 1.5 bases and took DJ LeMahieu over 7.5 fantasy points. And then Stephen Kwan, I actually took him over 1.5 hits plus walks. So a guy that's going to get on base pretty frequently. I think everything makes sense. And I do have those posted in the prop shop. The only ones I don't have posted right now are the fantasy point ones for full game, because I'm trying to decide if I'm going to go 3-pick power here, just go a full unit on it, or if I'm going to split them up into 2 and try to work it that way. But those will be posted here shortly.
Oh, little man, go 3-pick power, man. Let's have a good time.
All right. I do like Scherzer under 43.5 fantasy points as well, for what it's worth. But that's like a personal one. But yeah, 43.5, I do like the under.
Do we like Detroit versus that's not Annabelle Sanchez. That's Aaron Sanchez. I see by Sonny's asking in the chat. That's not Annabelle. Annabelle, I believe, is still on Washington. That's Aaron Sanchez. That Detroit lineup is, I don't know. Speaking of stacks, Steve, do you like Detroit? Are they entering the conversation for you?
If you'd asked me this morning, I would have said yes, because I thought it was going to be Smeltzer. No, I do not. I mean, they're the worst team in baseball against right-handed pitching by a large margin. Like, there's not one guy in this lineup with an ISO over 150 against right-handed pitching this season. And, like, Aaron Sanchez stinks, but this lineup stinks. So, yeah, I'd be betting Minnesota in this game.
Here's what I will say. The man, the myth, the legend, Stevie TPFL himself has just dropped a little 3-piece and a biscuit in the prop shop. Get in there if you want to get your hands on that tasty little treat there.
Showboat in chat, Chief, he says, you basically put me in my place. He very politely told me, yeah, whatever. I don't care. I don't care about your opinion.
What do you mean?
Well, I was just screwing around and I said, yeah, get the 3-piece. Have a good time. You're like, yeah, whatever. You're going to do your thing. All right. Well, let's give our favorite plays position by position. Catcher. Oh, the dog is snoring next to me. I'm not sure if you can hear that. The dog's having such a good time next to me. Maybe it's a nightmare of some sort. Not really certain, but just kind of alarmed me. Hey, catchers, it's Sal Perez season, I think. I like a Royal, Stevie. What do you know?
I am shocked. He's too expensive. You just play Barnhart. He's minimum salary.
But Perez is going to homer, though. You don't like home runs?
No, I don't like home runs at catcher.
You don't like home runs. That's what
not at catcher.
You don't like catcher home runs? What's the best?
I know. I like 2K catcher home runs.
Well, that's beautiful too, but those don't exist.
No, I mean, if you're paying up, I think it's Salvador Perez by a large margin, or his counterpart, Melendez. That's a way to make your Royals stack different if you're stacking the Royals. You can technically play both of them now because Melendez is outfield eligible. So, I mean, it's those two guys or it's punt. I don't like any other expensive bats. Maybe Grendal. I like him a lot more from the left side of the plate than the right side of the plate, though. So if you're not paying up for one of those guys, Joey Bart's 2,700. He should be in the lineup against the lefty. And like I said, Barnhart's 2K. I like Scherzer and Gray together, so I'm going to be playing quite a bit of Barnhart.
Jonah Heim batting third today for Texas. Rushman's batting second. He's just super expensive. I assume this is a Fanduel question, Chief. Shaq. We got Shaq in the chat. What up, Shaq? Brandon the Mo or Rushman? I feel like we need more.
Rushman. I'll look at the numbers.
You'll take Rushman over Nemo?
I will, even though he's facing Gray. I saw the numbers earlier. He's got good numbers. He's got real good numbers.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm playing like 3 or 4 Mets, I would take Nemo, but probably Rushman, I guess. Yeah, I hear you. I like him. I think he's going to be good. I know it's not like a hot take, but I think he's going to be like a legit top 5 catcher, top 3 catcher in the league. He's obviously still just 22, 23 years old, still figuring stuff out. He looks the part. How about that? All right, let's jump to first. First, much more interesting here. Oh, well, I'm sorry. Well, did you have a catcher thought? I feel like I skipped you there. My bad.
No, I'm good, man. We can move on over to first.
All right. So the polar bear, right? Alonso, he's going to be super popular. Well, if you have the salary for it, he's pretty expensive, especially on DK. You got to pay for it. But, you have to assume he's going to maul whatever Patrick Corbin's throwing at him. Well positioned. And I talked about Pasquantino earlier. He's my favorite cheapie on the slate. I'm going to have a ridiculous amount of them. Your thoughts as far as first?
Yeah, man. Pete Alonso definitely is in the building here. Like him a lot. I like a lot of DJ LeMahieu tonight as well. I think he's a big time play. We talked about this last night on the show. Was Josh Naylor going to be back? Josh Naylor is back at 4,200. He's my favorite. Let's call it value first baseman. Really like him a lot. I like him more than Christian Walker, even though Walker's cheaper. I think Josh Naylor is a better play. But I really like him. Yuli Gurriel coming in second here tonight at 3,300. If you're playing Houston stats, banking on Eovaldi to wet the bed yet again, definitely get him in your lineups.
Yeah, Eovaldi's been a disaster since coming back from injury. The velocity's been down. He's historically reverse splits. He would talk about that. The Crawford box is down the left field line. That's why I do like the righty power for Houston. I mean, obviously, I like Tucker and Yordan as well. That's why I was kind of bummed about Bregman not playing. But I think Altuve, we'll talk about him in a second. I think he's going to be most ignored as a fabulous play as well. What do you have here at first base, Stevie?
Pete Alonso, Jose Abreu, Josh Naylor, and Vinny at 2.2K.
You like Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say not a position I'm really gonna overthink today. It's either pay up for one of these expensive guys, like Gurriel on a Houston stack. I think is fine too. Batting second at 3,300 if you want to save some money, because a lot of that Houston stack is going to be kind of expensive. So, but yeah, I think Pete Alonso might be the best play on the entire slate, not just at first base.
Hey, let's say your name hypothetically is Vinny Pasquantino, Stevie. Would you prefer your nickname to be Vinny Linguini or the Italian Nightmare? Which do you prefer? Which sounds better? Which sounds more daunting? Again, that's
so like, there's one of my favorite disc golfers' nickname is Vinny, so I'm gonna go with the Vinny one.
No. Vinny is his name. His name.
I think his nickname just needs to be Vinny.
That's his name. Your nickname's not Stevie. That's your name. What do you mean?
No, my name is not Stevie.
Steve.
That's my nickname. My name's not Steve. Like, you really don't even know my name?
Oh, Steven? Like, we're not.
Man, like this guy.
Your government
grows a rat on his lip and can't remember my name. It's gotten to his ears.
But no nickname.
Why, like the Italian Stallion or something? Like that's
taken. That's been claimed. You know?
No, it hasn't. That was a movie.
That's been claimed, and there's somebody else in the real world who's been Italian Stallion. I'm sure if you Google it.
Listen, until this dude starts hitting home runs and becomes like a power threat or something, like he doesn't get a nickname. He's just Vinny.
Okay, there's got to be other people. There's got to be like a real boxer at some point nicknamed the Italian Stallion, right? That's not Stallone, you'd think. All right, maybe not. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
According to the chat,
there's a wrestler. There was a wrestler.
Italian Stallion?
Yeah.
Who?
I can't find his actual name. Gary Stubble.
Who?
Gary Stubble?
He was a jobber. I don't know who that is. I've never heard of that guy.
I'm just saying, World Wrestling, he was in the WWF and
it's Jabroni. Yeah.
NWA.
We have Alonso at 9% ownership. Let's hit a refresh. Is that it? Like, I know he's expensive. He's 6'3" on DK. By Judge's big boy price, $5K on Fanduel.
It makes a lot of sense that like we're not seeing a ton of ownership projected for these guys because the pitching is such high. But yeah.
Interesting. We have Rizzo as the highest guy just by default. Rizzo, it's not very high, 12%. It's just, according to our projections, it's wide open. And if Pasquantino is 8%, I am thrilled until he goes 0 for 4 with like 4 barrels and they're all caught and I'll be fully tilted. That's it.
Probably still won't matter.
What do you mean?
Like his price, a 0 won't kill you.
I gotcha. They're just throwing out wrestlers now. Bruno Sammartino he was not the Italian Stallion, I don't think. Hart Connection was that was Bret Hart and Owen Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Those they're not Italian, they're Canadian. I guess you could be Canadian Italian, right? But you know what I mean. Cody Rhodes is not Italian. Dusty Rhodes' kid. Superfly is a murderer. Learned that late in life. Hey, anything else here of note, Chief, as far as first base, or shall I move on?
Nah, man, let's move it along.
What do you got as far as second, Chief?
I mean, everybody from second is mostly going to be in my stacks. I will say this. I do sneakily like Arizona tonight in the same game. I'm saying that because Ketel Marte's popped up. He's 4,900. I like him as well. Gleyber Torres is on my list. Jorge Polanco, I don't mind him at 4,300. He's on my list. Mlb Diaz at 3,400 for your Houston stacks. He's on the list. Owen Miller tonight, 2,800. Hasn't really popped like he did a little bit earlier this season, but man, still scoring fantasy points. I'm expecting Cleveland to hang some runs here. My top stack on the night at 2,800. Sign me up.
The chat's giving us the business theory as far. We got to move on.
I mean, they've never watched the show you've hosted. Like when you were gone and I was hosting shows for you, like we got through the slate in like 45 minutes and answered questions for like 30 minutes, and like we got the most likes that we've ever had on YouTube shows.
What?
We come back and like we got like 20 likes, and we've been BSing for an hour, and now we have 10 minutes to get through second, third, short, and outfield stacks and questions, and we'll probably get through like maybe second base.
Well, we're at second right now. We're on for the next, 15, 20 minutes or so. Then, Well, the other part is like you got to assume. What if chat just doesn't ask questions? Then we sit there just twiddle our thumbs and talk about wrestling until crunch time crew comes in.
No, I mean second base, Dean. Second base, Marcus Semien. Did you guys mention Marcus Semien?
I like Semien. I like Altuve as spend ups, but otherwise, I don't like the position at all, really.
No, it's a position that, I mean, Torres is another guy that really stands out. Jimenez, Diaz, mentioned Diaz when we were talking about, God, I can't think of his name. Bregman, going on the IL or whatever the list, paternity list. But anyway, Diaz is batting fourth against Eovaldi in an offense that looks really good tonight. So I think he is kind of that guy like in that cheap range at 3.4K. That makes a lot of sense. But I mean, you could full on punt with like a Garcia or a Scope or something tonight, and no one would really tell you not to.
In case you missed it, Houston traded Siri for what it's worth. I don't know if he was up with the big club. He might have been the minors, but I think, just one guy not available. I guess he was a part of I think it was a 3-team deal with Tampa and the Mancini from Baltimore going to Houston as well. Keeping an eye on the Twitter to see if anything's going on, but it's pretty quiet. The deadline, I think, is tomorrow at 5, typically, more or less, East Coast time. It'll be before the next slew of games. But, so far, pretty quiet. Montas, the biggest deal, I suppose, moving today. Hader also going to San Diego. Let's jump to third, Stevie. What do you got for me?
Someone said in chat, I'm woofing. I'm like the most calm, chill person. I'm like 95% of the time I'm just messing with Dean. And the fact that people don't understand that is hilarious. I mean, third base, Jose Ramirez, one of the best, if not one of the best hitters on the slate. Like, I think we would rank them Alonso, Ramirez, Judge, kind of 1A, 1B, 1C as far as like top hitters on the slate. So J-Ram in a great spot, Donaldson in a great spot. You can go down and save some money with JD Davis batting fifth against Corbin. You can use him in the outfield, though, so you don't necessarily have to use him at third base. So I like JD Davis a lot. But, like, those are really the three guys outside of maybe Manny Machado. I have him as a one-off on a couple spots on the slate as well.
What do you have here to add as far as third base, Chief? And I agree, like the top three hitters in the slate probably, obviously lineup construction matters and stacking and things like that. Judge, Alonso, Ramirez in some order. Yordan for me is right there as well too. I think Soto is a super interesting contrarian play. I did a
over 1.5 total bases for Alonso, Judge, Ramirez, and Alvarez on Prize Picks. Just take the 4 best hitters and take the over. Make it a 3 out of 4, and if it gets all 4, you get 5x. Like, I do that all the time.
I'm rooting for something different. I actually bet Alonso and to walk and Yordan or Alvarez to walk because, like,
Well, they could walk and still get a home run and still get over 1.5 total bases, Dean.
Yeah, I think I got like plus 160, I want to say, on Alonso walking. Something like that. To jump in here, Chief, what are your thoughts as far as third base?
These are my thoughts for third base. This is what was going on while you were gone, Dean. I got to turn this off. No copyright infringement. I really like Donaldson today. And really like Donaldson today at third. 3,900. Really good price. Facing Mr. Gonzalez. Numbers on the season haven't been maybe what you're accustomed to. Like the ISO is only sitting around 182, 277 WOBA. Walk rate is at 11.3%. But I still like him. I think that's a really good way to continue to get your Yankees exposure. I really like Josh Donaldson. And I also, despite what the numbers are showing in my face, I just feel like it's going across the fence for Donaldson tonight. That's my top play at third base. Outside of Jose Ramirez, of course. That's my guy.
Shortstop, kind of a bummer. No Bobby Witt. He's dealing with an injury. He was one of my favorite plays earlier today. He's not giving him the go. But, Francisco Lindor, part of the Mets stack, against Corbin, nice ballpark. I think he looks like the best option. Of course, salary is a thing too. Semien a little bit cheaper. Anderson in the middle if you like the White Sox. Correa's got a good price for his name, 4-5. And I talked about those righties against Eovaldi. Don't mind some Jeremy Pena. Well, your thoughts as far as short?
Yeah, man. Can always play Corey Seager in a spot like this. Can play Correa. Those are some of my favorite plays for sure. Like especially in that mid 4K range. I definitely play them over some of the higher price guys, just because I think they've got equal upside. So yeah, those are my top two.
Hey, Chief, get excited. How much do you like Austin Riley?
I like Austin Riley a lot.
Do you want your Braves to sign him for a long-term contract?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
They did. Moving on. Next.
They just signed him for a 10-year deal.
Yeah.
And we didn't sign Freddie Freeman. I'm off this show.
That was his agent like screwing him.
No, I'm just messing, but yeah. Cool. That'd be nice.
$212 million. Congratulations, Austin Riley. He's been amazing. He's been spectacular this season.
I mean, that's actually a really good contract considering NBA players are getting $250 million for 4 years.
Well, I mean, one NBA guy though can completely change a franchise. Riley, we see Trout and Ohtani still can't do it, but I hear what you're saying. What do you have here, Stevie? As far as third base or shortstop?
I mean, if you want to pay up for Seager or Anderson, I think those are the two pay up options on this slate. I don't mind Lindor. He's just not I don't like him as much as I like Anderson. I think Anderson is the top shortstop play on the slate against Lynch, batting leadoff, great hitting weather, and I mean, one of the best umpires for hitters. So really like Anderson. And then if you want to spend down, I don't mind Kim or Isaiah from the Yankees. Fiflifa or whatever his name is.
IKF.
Yeah, IKF. So, I mean, shortstop's a position. If you're not paying up, you just go down and plug in whoever fits the salary for you.
All right. Fire off your questions in chat. Going to talk some outfielders. Going to give out some homers.
We're not going to talk questions. You're wasting time by even saying to fire your questions. We have 3 minutes. We haven't even talked about outfielder stacks.
No. We have till 25 after at least. Yeah.
Oh no, I leave at 20. It's in my contract.
Well, then me and Chief are maybe just going to be hanging out waiting. You can leave whenever you want. I can't keep you there. That's if you feel like you got to go in 2 minutes, so be it. I guess I should go to you first as far as the outfield. Then, what outfielders do you like?
I'm not cooking. I can smell it though. It smells good. Someone in chat, I think. Oh, it was Steve, our producer. Outfield. I mean, Judge and Yordan Alvarez, my favorite two outfielders. Like everybody else, Nolan Jones is someone that I don't mind. That I don't think is going to get a ton of upside or ton of ownership. Kyle Tucker, Hicks. Just trying to think of some cheaper guys. JD Davis, we mentioned him. All of the White Sox outfielders are kind of pricey, and I love this spot for them even more now. With Vaughn and Eloy, they're like $5K and $4,100. I really, really like. I really, really like the White Sox today. We're going to talk about stacks in a minute, but White Sox are quickly becoming one of my favorite stacks.
My favorite dollar for dollar, one of my favorite dollar for dollar guys is Hunter Dozier. I don't think outfield's great today. Just obviously Judge is spectacular, like Marte, like Yordan. I don't know how much money I have for him. I want to spend him if I can get to him, but of course we do live in the world of a salary cap, and I'm not sure if I'm delegating 6'4" to Judge. Question there in chats from Frank: thoughts on fading Judge in tournaments? Of course you can, absolutely. I mean, you could play a Yankee stack without Judge theoretically. That's not necessarily ideal, but it's baseball. Goofy stuff happens. Your thoughts on fading Judge, Will, and other outfielders you happen to like tonight?
I mean, I think if you're fading Judge, you can. I don't think it's the most optimal for a Yankee stat, but I mean, you can get creative, especially if you're going to take some other high upside bets. Like if you're fading Judge and you're saying, okay, instead of Judge, I'm going to play Yordan Alvarez and then, play some other guys from a Yankee stack. I can totally get that. Because, I mean, if you fade Judge, you can get Torres, Donaldson, Benintendi and Hicks or something. Do maybe a bottom of the order stack. And then with Houston, maybe you're getting Yordan, and then maybe even in that stack you do a one-off on Jose Ramirez. And then suddenly fading Judge doesn't feel like such a disaster. So I don't think it's optimal if you really want to stack the Yankees, but I get it if you're playing other high upside bets. I'm in on that.
We got Judge right now at 31% on FanDuel. That seems I'm probably not going to get there at 5K. I'll be under that number at 31% and 19% at 6.4 on DK. again, this is where I prioritize is like give me 2 better arms and hopefully Judge has hit 2 homers. That's kind of where I'm at. And I sometimes I'll have like a just in case lineup with Judge, but I'm gonna have less in the field almost definitely.
Really quick. Just I'm curious on your thought. Total bases. Alec Thomas versus Jose Ramirez. Who do you got for more total bases?
Well, I mean, Jose Ramirez.
That's one of the rivals. That's one of the rivals on Underdog. Just so you guys know.
Oh gosh,
you're welcome.
Listen, Underdog rivals is sneaky. Like, will hand you a few things from time to time if you just go in there. It's incredible.
Alex Bregman versus Jarren Duran is on there.
0 versus 0.
Yeah, just throwing that out there.
They don't cancel that?
They do. I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay.
that one was kidding. The Jose Ramirez one was not. Go take advantage of that right now.
I've never played an Underdog, so I can't see this.
You're honestly you're just taking who you think is going to have more total bases. It's heads up, straight up. It's rivals. If
you're betting props, by the way, we have a free article on Scores and Odds from Keith Eister. I'll go ahead and drop it in chat for the people. Check out all things sports betting, expert picks, analyst tools. I jumped in there and put a bet there. There's a whole bunch in there from Ryan, Dude Man Pa. Grant is always firing stuff in there at Scores and Odds.
You got Donaldson versus Jesse Winker tonight too. I'm absolutely picking Donaldson. Yeah.
I don't have a hot take on that. I guess I would take.
That's a good 2 pick there. That's a good one.
Hold on.
Eloy versus the flirter. I'll take Eloy versus the flirter, Jesse Winker. What do you guys think?
Eloy for me. You can take either Eloy against Dozier. So I just did a Underdog 5-man rival. I'm going to tell you guys right now. Jose Abreu over Whit Merrifield.
I knew it.
Eloy over Dozier. Kyle Tucker over Xander Bogaerts. Josh Donaldson over Winker. Jose Ramirez over Alec Thomas. You guys are welcome for your 20x. And thank me on. Yeah, it's 20x.
Is that a special? It's usually 10x.
No, it's always 20x. If you go full 5-man on Underdog, it's 20x.
Okay, fair enough.
But like, there's no like flex picks or anything like that. You have to get all 5 right.
We have a RotoGrinders promo for Underdog. Probably.
Yes. Somewhere. Go in the prop shop. Go to the pinned messages. It's in there.
There you go. Simple enough. RotoGrinders.com/Discord.
If you're download it. If you're grinding out best ball stuff, check out Spike Week, spikeweek.com.
Smashing it over there, man.
Are you?
Like, have you started to dig into like best balls?
No.
Scott Fishbowl got me like ready. Like, that's what you need, Dean. You need to play in the Scott Fishbowl next year, and it makes you get ready for football season.
I played it in 1 year, and I kind of gave up on week 2 or week 3, and I felt guilty because I know so many people want to play in that, and so many people want to join. They get all excited. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to yield to somebody that's going to enjoy this more than I am. So I didn't join again. Maybe I'll join another time. But yeah, I know somebody else would appreciate it more than I would. So I stepped aside. Let's give out some homers before the crunch time crew jumps in here. Stevie, you're in overtime right now. You should be gone 4 minutes ago. Do you want to knock out a couple homers before you step aside and get out of here and make way for the crunch time crew?
I mean, Devin messaged me and told me I get paid quadruple to stay after. So I'm hanging out.
Now you're going to milk it.
Yeah, like you can stay I'll stay through crunch time. But no, I mean, Pete Alonso would be my favorite home run. Adam Vaughn and JD Davis. That would be my 3 home runs today.
I like JD Davis as a cheapie. What about yourself, Will?
Yeah, give me Judge, which doesn't make any sense, but God, man, seems like he should hit another one today. Just not based off previous performance, just based off what I see here. Another guy that, I think is sneaky today, but not so sneaky. Jose Abreu, he's going to hit another one. And then at the top of the list, on the other side, I was waiting to play this guy last week. Didn't make the lineup. This is someone I didn't talk about. I actually like Kyle Lewis today, and I liked him last week. In another good spot that was similar to this, but give me Kyle Lewis against Domingo.
Did Will just say like doesn't make much sense for Judge to hit another home run? The dude that has 42 home runs on the season against an awful lefty doesn't make sense. Will doesn't make sense. Almost like Dean's mustache doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense.
I noticed it looks a little different tonight, Dean.
Yeah, I woke up feeling youthful.
He colored it with Worcestershire sauce.
He cut off a rat's tail and taped it to his lip.
Yeah.
You're eating too many steaks.
I'm betting we're putting it on the line, Stevie. My mustache for your beard this Friday. It's going to go down.
This is going to be good.
To remind me because I will forget.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to remind you. Also, we have no chief meteorologist Kevin Roth. Kevin Roth, he did say he's going to be tweeting out his thoughts as far as Washington. It is currently yellow. STL Cards going to be filling those footsteps. I got a beef with Carty. I have a question first for
I'm leaving. Hope everyone had a great show. See you guys later.
No,
Cheese, Derek, STL. That's all I got. Bye.
He's capped on his overtime.
Dude, I would milk the clock when I worked in restaurants back in the day. You gotta milk that $2 an hour. Dave, are you feeling better today? How's the heart?
Yeah, we're getting there. Yeah, I'm currently alive.
There you go.
Which is more than I would have guessed a couple days ago. Everything is fine.
Was it worth it though? The chicken sandwich?
No, it was. I mean, it was great. It was tremendous. But it's like one of those. I'll go a few weeks and like everything's fine. I don't have any heartburn. I'm like, I kind of forget. I'm not supposed to eat like any food really late at night, much less something spicy. But rarely does the heartburn last like 3 days. I don't understand. I'm fine. I'm so alive. Don't even worry about it.
Good to see you. Appreciate you powering on through. And Carty, you're going to talk about this in a second. But why does the bat hate Scherzer today?
Scherzer, that's what everyone keeps asking. Why does the bat hate Scherzer?
What's the deal?
It doesn't just hate him. It says you are bad at DFS if you play him. Like it's that. It is. That's what it says.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get into it. Obviously, on the surface, it doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. It's Scherzer against the Nationals, but there's a lot of things working against Scherzer today. He's against a super low strikeout offense. It's a pretty significant park downgrade. It's the best hitting weather of the day. It's a hitter's umpire.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. I've been on these under fantasy points on Prize Picks all day, and now I just have to nuke it.
Yeah, and he's going to be the highest owned pitcher on the slate, at least on DraftKings. So, like,
and he's most certainly not getting a win with Corbin on the other side. So,
yeah,
scratch Christian Vasquez. He was just traded to Houston, the other side of the dugout.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good trade. Wow.
Yeah. So that Red Sox lineup got even worse for Luis Garcia. And is Soto going to get traded mid-game here, Carty? What's happening tonight? Why are they bleeding this to the last second?
I mean, a lot of times it's not until deadline day that stuff happens. Like, I'm kind of surprised we've seen so many deals today, but it is possible Soto gets scratched tonight. Yeah.
I'm really over the Soto to the Cardinals rumors. A, it's not happening. And B,
there's a lot of significant beat writers saying that the Cardinals have the pieces to pull off a big deal.
They do have the pieces. I mean, because Carlson's young and Gorman's young and Jordan Walker, who's their top prospect in AA, hit like 5 home runs over the weekend. And, everyone seems to think that he's going to be a superstar. But if you're giving up, 2 of your best young players plus 2 or 3 of your best prospects for Soto, where you only have control of him for 2.5 years, I mean, unless you're pretty sure you're going to be able to get an extension with him, I think that's a risky move. And so half of the Cardinals fan base hates that they never make any big trades, and the other half hates that if they give up the top prospects. And if you look at message boards and stuff, it's just chaos. But
if you're a fan who's upset about giving up some prospects for Juan Soto, I get the 2.5 years thing. You want to extend him.
Right.
But give up, if you can extend him, give up literally anything. You don't get a guy like this at this point in his career ever. Like literally ever. These guys are not available. And give up.
But Dean says he's only hitting 240.
I don't say that.
I just kidding.
My dopey friends say that. Like, oh, this Harper guy, his batting average stinks. But Cards, you're set anyway because Paul DeYoung is back. So who can't? You're good to go. It's like picking up Soto without picking up Soto.
I mean, this is what the Cardinals front office is. Their current front office is not known for making deals at the deadline, impactful deals. I mean, like last year they got Happ and Lester. So you're going to see they're going to get like Noah Syndergaard or Quintana or somebody. Odorizzi maybe fine. That's what they do. Yes, they got Goldie, they got Arenado, but they did those in the offseason. And it would just be really surprising to me if they. And don't get me wrong, if they get Soto, fantastic. But, That's what they're getting Paul DeJong back is just like making a trade. Heck, Josh Hader getting traded out of the division, that's just like the Cardinals making a trade. So I don't know. It's really interesting and certainly doesn't give the media any shortage of talking points over the next 24 hours for sure.
I just can't believe the best fans in the world would have bad takes. How's that even possible? Like that doesn't compute to me, Cards.
I mean, if you're scouring internet forums, every fan base has people with horrible taste. So it's, you just need to get through the deadline and then whatever happens. But, Soto didn't come on the charter flight back from Washington last night. So no done deal yet.
I'm going to fire up my homers and step aside and get out of here. Make way for the FanDuel sponsor, Crunch Time. The Italian Nightmare. Vinny Pasquantino goes yard, and his teammate, Hunter Dozier, which sounds like a guy that hits a lot of homers with that very intimidating name. He's not great. He's fine, but he's going to homer. He was going to homer tonight as well. The regression monster is coming for Kopech. All right, myself, I'm not sure if Chief is still here. I know Stevie, he stepped aside. He logged out 5 minutes ago. He's got dinner ready or something like that. But
Chief bounced too.
Oh, all right. So it's just me. It's awkward. It's awkward, fellas. All right, FanDuel sponsor Crunch Time. It's playing the role of chief meteorologist Kevin Roth. It's STL Cards. You got Dave Potts and you have Derek Carty. It's starting now. I'm stepping aside. We're out of here.
All right, yeah. I've been told that this is an easy gig, so I had no problem filling in. But the truth of the matter is, Carty gave Roth a bunch of flack last week for not having the superlatives correct and taking him down. From president to captain.
Every week, every show, he kept making him worse and worse.
Yeah, so so Roth has been fired for that, apparently. But
as he should have been. Good riddance.
In any case, the three of us have done a lot of shows. I don't know if we've ever done a show together, but Justin Van Zuiden, aka STL Cards, here, along with Emperor Derek Carty. Carty, how you doing?
I like it. That definitely works. You're hired. Roth, see you later. Doing pretty well. It's trade deadline week. We have a bunch of fun deals going on today, deals going on tomorrow. We have a really fun DFS slate where the projections are out of line pretty severely with the ownership, which is always really nice to see. So, this is a fun one.
Yeah, it should be a fun night tonight. In case you're just catching up on the news from the day, Montas to the Yankees, Mancini to the Astros, Josh Hader to the Padres. Those are kind of the big deals that have gone throughout the day. Luis Castillo to the Mariners over the weekend. Surely a lot more to come in the next 24 hours. The deadline about 24 hours from now. So we will see what happens in that next day. But surely plenty of more pieces to move. We've got Dave Potts, a.k.a. Cheeseisgood, alongside as well. And I told Dave this morning that I needed him to hopefully write for me on Sunday because I'm going down to St. Louis to watch Matt Carpenter face Adam Wainwright. And
I feel
hopefully
so bad
Carpenter's
for
in the
Wainwright, because I like the guy, but it's not going to end well.
So we're going to see Cardinals Yankees on Sunday. Couldn't pass up an opportunity to head down to see the Yankees in St. Louis. And so he told me I needed to promise a Matt Carpenter home run. So we'll do that in 6 days. But Cheese, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. It's just a really fun slate. There's a lot to like on both sides, which is always good.
Yeah, 9 games. So not the full 15 gamer that you usually will see, say, tomorrow night. A nice manageable slate. Obviously, we'll keep an eye on lineups in case there's any more trades. You might see some late scratches. But Cheese, I'll keep it with you. And you want to give the people kind of the lay of the landscape on the slate tonight and maybe talk some pitchers.
Yeah, I mean, the offense is spread out enough that I think you could put 6 or 7 teams in a top tier that's more or less a tie. So we'll kind of get to that as we work through positions. But really, the pitching is so fascinating, mostly because of this Max Scherzer bat projection situation. Like that's kind of all I want to talk about. I think we should just talk about that for 30 minutes and then get on our night. So here's what the bat says. And Carty can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not wrong because I'm looking at it. If you were to play Clevenger and Louis Garcia and have $2,000 left over, just leave the salary and don't play Scherzer. That's what it's saying. I think that's crazy and dumb, personally. I understand why this isn't a great Scherzer projection night, sort of, But I mean, I can't project this to be far and away his worst start of the year. I mean, this is silly. What I will say is
we projected him for 8 points or something. Would this really be his worst start of the year? 18 points?
It'd be his worst start in a long time. Certainly since coming back off the IL, like this would be far and away his worst start. I think he only has one start all season below your projection for him. This is not like the best team he's faced. This is just. I realize anything can happen, but are you really like seriously, Derek? If you were putting your own real life money in a lineup, you would play Skubal and Garcia and leave $2,000 on the table instead of playing Scherzer. Would you do that?
Well, because
that's what it says to do. Are projections real or are they fake? Like this is the test.
Projections are going to know everything. I mean, it doesn't know that he's Max Scherzer and the luster and all that. What it sees is a difficult matchup for him and a better matchup for these other guys. I don't think that's a decision you're going to be put to because at the price in cash games, you don't need to spend up the extra amount for Scherzer. And in GPPs at the ownership, even if the bat is even directionally right and not like this right, it's still easily the right play to not play Scherzer in GPP. So it's not like
dollar, but I'm saying, would you really recommend to people to leave $2,000 on the table and not play Scherzer?
I'd say take that $2,000 and spend it somewhere else.
No. I'm asking you for real. Would you leave $2,000 on the table and not play Scherzer?
Yeah. Yeah, if that's what the projection says, then yeah, sure. I'm on board with it.
All righty. There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
But I would not recommend leaving that $2,000 on the table. That's not the actual decision people are going to be put to.
But it is what the projections say, that's the right
projection says. And maybe the projection is too pessimistic on Scherzer, or maybe it's objective and it doesn't see Max Scherzer. It sees a sneaky, difficult matchup. It sees a guy who can struggle against lefty power facing 6 left-handers. It sees a guy taking a big park downgrade. It sees a guy with the best hitting weather of the night, with a hitter's umpire, facing the second lowest strikeout offense of the night. And it sees him priced at $11K.
No, it doesn't see him priced at 11. The price is not in that projection. Projection doesn't know his salary.
All right, fine. That's true. But
okay. But all this being said, I think we're all on the same ish page that this is not a necessary spend if you want to spend on the bats. Let me start on FanDuel and say,
and it's also worth saying, like, as much as like Scherzer's projection is low or whatever, and yeah, it's saying leave $2,000. It is saying the guy that is the top pitcher on the slate, which it has is Jonathan Gray right now. It's only saying he's 2 or 3 points better than Scherzer. It's not like he's saying he's like a lot better and Scherzer sucks. There are lots and lots and lots of outcomes here where Scherzer is the best pitcher on this slate. It's not like the projection gap is like massive.
It is not, but it is silly. Okay. We'll fight later.
God, I hope Scherzer gets rocked tonight. And shove it right in your face next time.
On FanDuel, I do think like Clevenger is the better play on FanDuel because $3,000 is very useful tonight on FanDuel. There's a lot of things you can do with a Clevenger lineup that you can't do with the Scherzer lineup. So I would be on board with Clevenger in cash games on FanDuel. On DraftKings, there's so many cheap bats that personally I would tell you to play Scherzer in cash games and optimal lineups and pair him with your choice of Clevenger Garcia. If you want to use the salary elsewhere and you want to play Clevenger Garcia, feel free. I also like Domingo Germán a lot as the cheap guy. DraftKings only pretty much, like you don't need that salary on FanDuel. And that's it. I have a very small pitching pool. Skubal is the one guy I'm kind of torn on. Like I love Skubal in general. Buxton's not playing. He's kind of just barely in my mix, but pretty much I'm playing Scherzer, then a mix of Gray, Clevenger, Garcia, and then Herman on DraftKings.
I said I was just going to sit back and let you guys duke it out. So feel free if you need to. We can throw another wrench in. Does the projection account for Soto getting traded in the second inning and having to be pulled from the lineup?
No, it does not. And I would imagine that would raise Scherzer's projection a decent amount if there's no Soto.
Okay, but no, I have a very serious actual question about this. So part of the reason I think your Scherzer projection is low is pitch count. Last time I looked, you had him at 92. Is that right?
Yes, 92.
If you had him at 98, what would that do to his projection? Do you know?
I don't. I'd say probably at about a point, just kind of guessing, maybe close to.
I think that is part of the difference in what I'm seeing in projection. Like he's not going to pitch. He rarely pitches 100 anymore. Like I think that 92 is fair, but I think that's the low end. And like, that's what I was wondering. I think if you had him at 98, I bet he would probably be up there with Clevinger is what I was thinking, but I don't know.
Yeah. And part of that is just because the way the bat kind of figures out pitch counts, it says in a regular start, Scherzer's going to throw 97 pitches. In a start where he's going to do better than normal, it'll project him more. A start where he's going to do worse than normal, it'll project him less. It sees all these factors tonight, the park, the weather, the umpire, whatever. And it thinks he's going to pitch a little bit worse than he normally would. So it's going to project him for fewer pitches. That's just for the chance that he's going to get hit around, drive his pitch count up, and get driven out a little earlier. That's where that comes from. But if that doesn't happen, if he's pitching well, then he could throw 100 or 105.
Yeah. So the other thing, just while we're just talking, I don't understand ceiling projections and where they do or do not come from. Like, if you were making these on your own and like fiddling with every number, wouldn't you have his ceiling projection the highest? Like, isn't his best case scenario just honestly better than Mike Clevinger?
I mean, is it though? Like, there's a real shot here where Clevinger goes out and throws like a 2-hitter and pitches 8 innings because his matchup is so good. Like, yeah, it's Scherzer, but like in this matchup, Clevinger does have a really high ceiling too.
So you think Clevinger's actual real life ceiling is better than Scherzer's?
I'm not sure. I mean, ceiling's conceptual. I'm not going to say that these ceiling projections are like infallible. And it's a conceptual thing. But yeah, I would say that Clevinger has a very high ceiling tonight. I think Scherzer does too, obviously. But name value doesn't go into the ceiling projections. So if you think that it should, if you think that just he's Scherzer and his upside is like bigger than everyone else just because he's Scherzer, then bump a ceiling projection a few points.
Well, it's not because he's Scherzer. It's because he's a better pitcher than everyone else.
Well,
but we're all, we all like Scherzer and we all think he's priced a lot. I just
okay. So one thing that the bat does not account for in ceiling projections is potential pitch limits. So Clevinger, it has projected.
That's exactly what I'm getting at.
Okay,
yes.
Yeah. So Clevinger, it has projected with a max of 102 pitches tonight, which would definitely limit his ceiling, and that is not fully incorporated in the ceiling projections. Okay. Which I'd like to do that at some point, but that's not in there.
Okay. Well, we should move on. I think everyone understands Scherzer's a great pitcher. This is not the best spot for him, and he's expensive. You do what you want to do. You can make a case to play him or not to play him, and I would not yell at you. And we both like Clevinger better on FanDuel anyway.
Yeah.
Carty, is there anybody you would go to on the cheap end? I know Cheese kind of mentioned Herman.
Yeah, so I mean, in GPPs, like, especially on DraftKings, like I said at the start, the projections are really out of whack with the ownership. Like, the 2 highest owned guys are projected to be Scherzer and Luis Garcia, and John Gray and Clevinger both project better than those guys do. So in GPPs, like, I want to be higher on those 2. Tariq Skubal, Cheese kind of mentioned, he projects really well for his ownership. So I like him a lot. And then Domingo Herman is kind of the even cheaper guy that I think is really good in GPPs for his price tag. That's kind of where I'm at. I don't think you have to have a huge pitcher pool tonight, especially because the best guys aren't projected to be efficiently owned.
All right, fair enough. If anybody has questions, we can take them in the Discord chat. We'll prioritize those if you are a premium subscriber to RotoGrinders. Check out the MLB Crunch Time Discord, and we'll get to your questions here shortly. Also, don't forget to check out the Fanduel Single Entry Series, $50,000 in bonus cash up for grabs. This is the start of the second week of the Fanduel Single Entry Series, so there's still 5 weeks left in the contest. The top 4 scores each week count towards your combined score. Players with the highest combined score each series get paid on top of the regular contest payouts. And the top finisher in each series also gets an all expenses paid trip to the Single Entry Series Championship in Chicago on September 9th with a $10,000 grand prize. So check out the FanDuel Single Entry Series before that fills up. So, all right, let's move to offense now. And we'll start with just in general stacks that we like tonight. And Carty, what are you looking at for offenses to love here?
Yeah, Cheese kind of said it earlier, and I think we're actually going to agree on this one. There's like probably 6 or so teams that you can make the case that they're just like all kind of the same at the top. And I don't think you have to get too weird beyond like that top tier of teams because, again, the pitching ownership relative to projections is not efficient. So if you're fading Scherzer, Luis Garcia, whoever, the high-owned pitchers, you don't have to get that weird with hitting. So, like, the Mets are going to be chalky. The Yankees are going to be chalky. The bat likes the Royals. It thinks they're going to be fairly chalky. Arizona, the Dodgers, Texas, I think that's kind of like your top tier of teams tonight, and I think they're all good. I don't think any's going to be, like, overly owned more than the other. I don't think any is going to be, like, super low owned relative to where they should be. You know, maybe LA because they're against Logan Webb and they're expensive. They might come in lower owned than they should be, but I think any of those teams look really good to me tonight.
All right, and Roth did tweet low chance of a delay in Washington and Cleveland. There's no washout games tonight, but if you have particularly the Scherzer game gets a little bit more interesting if there's a storm that pops.
That could
over
be
the
it.
ballpark,
Scherzer gets his 18 points in 4 innings and then gets a delay. That's what the projection is saying. I see now.
And so Roth has both those games at yellow for a chance of a delay, but doesn't seem like anything imminent or super high risk. There you go. There's my Roth report filling in for his role. All right, Cheese, your thoughts on the offenses, and then you can take us to catcher.
Both the New York teams are in good spots, although with their pricing, I kind of just like one-off power more than full stacks. KC is my favorite. I like the White Sox as well. I like Houston. I like Texas. I like Cleveland. I like a lot of things, and it's all very close.
All right. Feel free to take us to catcher.
So sadly, like I think Derek and I are going to agree on a lot of the bats. I know like the fighting is fun, but unfortunately, I see some agreement here. Sal Perez is so good at baseball. And he's the top catcher. And there you have it. I have nothing else to say.
Somebody in the chat was asking, says, ask Cheese why he likes Dozier and Perez so much. So there you go. There's my official ask.
I mean, Michael Kopech is supposed to be good, but he's not.
Yes, we had this discussion last week too when I was on with Carty. I don't get why people think he's an ace. Anyway, Carty, catcher.
Yeah, Perez is clearly the top guy on DraftKings. You are playing Perez in cash games. On FanDuel, you can even play Perez in cash games. The second best catcher is also on the Royals tonight, MJ Melendez. You can play him in cash games if you want. You can play them both for sure in GPPs, for sure in KC stacks. Dalton Varsho over on FanDuel is also really appealing. I mentioned Arizona as kind of one of those like top tier teams tonight. Going into a big park upgrade for them, facing a weak pitcher in Quantrill. And I mean, otherwise, you can one-off Will Smith. You can play him in a Dodger stack. Jonah Heim for Texas, same situation, that kind of thing. But it's clearly the KC guys up top.
Yeah, fairly, straightforward position tonight. I do agree, like the Royals guys as well. All right, Carty, you can take us to first.
First base, we got Big Meat Pete up top, expensive, but against Patrick Corbin. And for a lot of the reasons I kind of was against Scherzer, the Mets have going for them. Park upgrade. Good hitting weather, hitters umpire. These righties are going to have the platoon advantage against Corbin, who's not as bad as everyone thinks, but he's not good. And Pete Alonso's really, really good. So he's expensive, but he is definitely the top guy. I think more attainable on FanDuel than on DraftKings. If you're saving money, you have Vinny Pasquantino against Kopech, who we were just talking about. Pasquantino's 2-2 on DraftKings. He's 2-2 on FanDuel. He projects as like the third or fourth best first baseman on the slate tonight, just like straight up. And he's that cheap because KC is in such a good spot. Massive park upgrade for power. Kopech's overrated. Platoon advantage. He's hitting cleanup. Though I think he's kind of your cash guy if you're not spending all the way up on Alonso. Hunter Dozier in the same lineup, though, is also super underpriced and a good play. I think Christian Walker in your Arizona stacks or as a one-off in GPPs is a good power bet. That's first base.
Carty likes those cheap first basemen tonight. Makes it easier to fit Scherzer in there at pitcher. Cheese, your thoughts at first base?
I love the Pasquantino projection as much as I hate the Scherzer projection. Like it's gloriously high for that salary. One of the reasons you maybe don't play Scherzer is exactly because you can get Pete Alonso. I would call him my favorite spend up on the slate. I don't think you have to play him, especially on DK where he's priced up. It's a much easier get on FanDuel. Everything else this position is just something to be different. Carty named the top plays.
All right, you can take us to second.
Yeah, it's okay-ish, but like after first base, this is kind of a disappointment. I would say Gleyber Torres is my favorite guy, kind of on his own. Pretty much anything here though is just kind of in a stack. There's nobody I just feel like I have to have. Like I kind of like Semien and Torres. Altuve is good, but a little pricey. I'm fine with Merrifield and LeMahieu and Polanco and Cronenworth, but there's really not that one guy that we have at other positions. So this is a pretty much in a stack position.
I do think the Padres are semi-interesting tonight. So Cronenworth I do like at second base and GPPs. Carty, your thoughts at second?
Yeah, similar to Cheese. Like it's not a great position. There's not a whole lot separating the top guy from the rest. The bat does think it's Semien, but he's not like heads and shoulders above everybody else. Whit Merrifield's good, for KC, Gleyber Torres for New York, Ketel Marte for Arizona. Those are kind of the guys, so that's second base.
All right. Yeah, not the strongest position tonight for sure. All right, you can take us to third, Carty.
As is usually the case, Jose Ramirez is the top third baseman on the slate. And you can definitely try to get up to him. I wouldn't say he's a priority spend, but it's definitely possible to make it work and get him. If you're going down, we have JD Davis hitting fifth for the Mets tonight. He's 2.1 on DraftKings. He's 2.3 on FanDuel. He's against Patrick Corbin, all the good conditions there. He's a really good play on both sites. Josh Donaldson is 2.7 on FanDuel, and he's a really good play with platoon advantage against Gonzalez over on FanDuel. We also have Josh Rojas leading off for Arizona. I've mentioned Arizona a few times as a team that I like tonight. I think he's quite good. And yeah, if you want to be a little weird in a GPP, a guy like Heimer Candelario, I think is well priced on both sites. Maybe not going to see quite the same ownership as some of these other guys, but with plenty of power upside.
All right, Cheese, what do you like at third?
I like Jose Ramirez, obviously, and I like Manny Machado a lot. Those are really good spend ups. And then basically on FanDuel, Donaldson is just too cheap, and on DK, Davis is just too cheap. Like anything else you're doing just to try to be sneaky. Those four guys at their prices are the standouts.
So it looks like Tommy Pham's been traded to the Boston Red Sox, which is a really interesting trade.
That's weird.
So Boston traded Vasquez, and now they traded for Tommy Pham. I'm still not sure whether Boston's buying or selling, or perhaps they don't know what they're doing.
They'll let you know tomorrow.
We'll see how it all shakes out. And by the way, if you haven't seen it, there's like a 5-minute clip out there. I think John Boy or somebody posted it of the Red Sox errors from the month of July. It's comical. How poor their defense was in the month of July. Doesn't help they got a lot of injuries and some guys playing out of position. But seems like Tommy Pham is headed to Boston, and Chris Bryant was also scratched. No confirmation yet on whether that was a trade or he's just bagged up again. He's been scratched a few times.
Yeah,
so
it really could be either one with him.
yeah, it could be. But anyway, if you're on Chris Bryant for whatever reason, make sure you don't have him. Probably a slight upgrade there for Clevenger. And Cheese, I will let you go to shortstop.
Yeah, Corey Seager's back. All is right with the world. And I do like Seager a lot tonight, especially on DK. If Saller's no issue, I'm going to play Lindor first. I like Lindor, Seager, and Tim Anderson kind of ahead of the pack. There's plenty of good plays here, as always, but those three are standing out to me.
All right, Carty, what you got to short?
Yeah, I like Seager a lot. I think he's the top guy. I think in cash, you make it a priority to get him. You can play him as a one-off. You can play him in your Texas stacks. Lindor for the Mets, Trey Turner for the Dodgers for sure. That's kind of shortstop. You can one-off a guy like Tim Anderson if you want, or Ahmed Rosario, but Seager I think is kind of the top guy.
All right, we'll go through outfield and then we'll get to the questions. So, Carty, what do you got in the outfield?
Yeah, so Aaron Judge is going to be the top guy. He's really expensive on DraftKings, but I still think you can make it a point to get up there. He's also, for FanDuel, $5K is a big price tag. So, but he's so good. He's better than everyone else on this slate by a good amount. So I like Judge a lot. Yordan Alvarez projects well. Juan Soto in GPPs. I'm not going to tell you to full stack Nationals or anything, but Juan Soto, the biggest concern is just that he gets scratched in the second inning. But against Scherzer, this is a really good matchup for Soto. So I like him a lot in the tournament play. I like Starling Marte on the other side of the game quite a bit in stacks, cash, everything. Riley Green tonight, leading off for Detroit, projects quite well. Hunter Dozier in the KC lineup, we mentioned a bunch of those guys. Hunter Dozier, even MJ Melendez. You can play him in the outfield in your KC stacks on DraftKings to be a little bit different. You'll have Salvi in your catcher, Melendez in the outfield. Like, that's fine to do. And then you have your usual guys who are always too cheap. Jesse Winker's 2.4 on FanDuel. Dalton Varsho at 2.9 is a good play. Victor Reyes at 2.2 is a good play. Yeah, that kind of sums up outfield. Oh, and Michael A. Taylor at 2K on DraftKings for KC. Like, that whole team is just too cheap, and they project so well tonight.
All right, Cheese, what you got for outfield?
Most of the same names. Let me throw. Did you mention any White Sox? Eloy's real cheap on FanDuel too, and they got the pitching change, which helps a little bit. Mark Canha along with JD Davis. You can certainly make a case to just kind of mini stack some Mets power, even if you don't want to stack them. Kyle Tucker on DK is kind of the standout too cheap guy for me. Not cheap, but 4.4. There's still some concern, like Eovaldi still doesn't look right. So that's just a team I want to make sure I'm playing a good bit of.
All right, let's get to the questions. We'll go in the Discord, and we've only got 6 minutes left to lock, so we'll try to move through these fairly quickly. JMVP wants to know, what is the chalky build for DraftKings tonight? Is it Max and Herman? It probably is Max and Herman on DraftKings to help people get the bats that they want. But there's not going to be more than 3 or 4 pitchers that are going to be popular tonight. So you might see people go Max and Garcia or Max and Clevenger. Those are kind of or Gray. So Scherzer, Garcia, Gray, Clevenger, and Herman are probably the pitchers that are garnering some ownership tonight.
Because of those cheap bats, like it's pretty easy to get Scherzer, Clevenger. Right? I think that's kind of going to be the chalk.
Yeah, for what it's worth, the bats ownership doesn't see Herman being all that owned, and it might be that dynamic kind of driving it a little bit.
Fair enough. All right. Let's see. Cheese, DK GPP, Royals stack. Is it okay to play double catcher with Melendez in the outfield?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Carty, a side ass FanDuel cash, Semien and Donaldson, or Torres and Sal Perez?
Probably Torres, Sal Perez, but you're fine either way.
All right, Cheese, DK, GPP, any interest in a full or mini giant stack of righties against Haney?
That's one. Like I have one giant stack in the super large GPP just because, but I mean that's really far down the list.
All right, Rowdy Ray asks, any interest in Detroit tonight? Carty, I know you mentioned Riley Green just a bit ago. Any interest in a Detroit stack in GPPs tonight?
Yeah, I think Detroit stack is actually totally fine, especially at their prices. I'm on board with Detroit.
All right, Jay Sam's question. Cheese, if building one lineup in a GPP, would you rather play Herman with Astros, Mets, and Aaron Judge, or Gray with just Astros and Mets stacks? So Herman and Judge, or Gray and 2 full stacks?
I like Gray and the 2 full stacks. And Carty kind of alluded to this on the pitching side. I think Gray is the guy who will go under owned just kind of because of where he falls in the pricing.
And Baltimore traded Mancini today. Like this is Baltimore, and they just lost their best hitter.
All right. Carty just hit on Herman a little bit ago. Somebody's asking about him. I think we've covered that. NBA DFS, Carty, Melendez and Kwan, or Pasquantino, Naylor, FanDuel Cash?
I guess it's Pasquantino, Naylor, but I think you can do better than Naylor.
Cheese, DK, GPP, Semien, or Flores at second base?
Semien.
All right. Straw, DK, Cash, Carty, 3v3 here. Herman, Ramirez, and Rizzo, or Scherzer, Garlic, and Dozier?
I mean, who do you think I'm going to be on?
Yeah, that's the first one for Carty tonight. All right.
Herman one.
Cheese, BHB, DK, Cash, Gray and Dozier, or Clevenger and Riley?
I assume that means Riley Green. I was thinking last name Riley.
Yeah, it's got.
It's so close. I would go Gray, Dozier.
All right, DK single entry. You got one stack for all the money. Carty, who you like in a GPP stack?
I think I'll just take KC. They project as the best, and I would be different with my pitching. And I don't even know if they're going to be they're not even going to be the highest owned.
Cheese, Beaner says FanDuel GPP, Eloy or Profar?
Eloy.
All right. Based on the talk earlier, everyone likes Pasquantino over Garlic for the person who asked that. Carty, Gleyber Torres or Kyle Tucker on FanDuel Cash?
It's probably Tucker. I assume that's a util question, so I think you take Tucker.
All right. Somebody asking me if I like Houston as a full stack tonight. Probably better offenses, but they aren't going to be super chalky. But Diaz, Pena, Tucker, it's okay. They aren't at the top of my list tonight. All right. Dozier or Melendez, FanDuel GPP, Cheese.
Dozier.
Fick Nostrum, DK GPP, Carty. Let's see. Well, that's going to be Clevenger Garcia. We'll skip the Scherzer questions. Dan Jan. All right, I'm going to throw this one to Carty. DK single entry is an Arizona stack with Gray and Clevenger too cute?
Not at all. I like that a lot.
Crazy Coop. Cheese. Would you remove Max at starting pitcher to get Alonso, or keep Max and use Gurriel in your full Astros stack?
If it's a full Astro stack, I think you need Gurriel.
LeMahieu or Torres, Carty?
Torres.
All right, Achilles, DK Cash, Nicky Lopez and Jordan, or Seager and Varsho?
Seager, Varsho.
Poor Nicky Lopez. Nicky Lopez stands out as the weak link in that one. I once called him the worst DFS player in baseball, and I still regret that I was that mean to Nicky Lopez. He did nothing to deserve it. But all right, that takes us through the questions and takes us up to lock. So if you are playing players in the later games, there's 2 games that don't start till 9:40. Make sure you keep an eye out for lineup scratches. It does seem like the Chris Bryant scratch was his foot and not a trade, but could be a cover-up. You never know these days. All right. Last question from Rocky Raccoon. Cheese needs a low-owned outfielder, 2,300 or less on FanDuel. Any interest in Kyle Lewis?
I don't have any Kyle Lewis interest personally. I mean, it's fine-ish, but 23 or less, like I would probably play. Well, there's several guys I'd play ahead of Lewis personally. I'd play Cole Calhoun. I don't mind Will Myers back off the IL. I don't mind him. That'd probably go with one of those two.
All right. With that, we're going to go ahead and call it a show here tonight. We appreciate everybody tuning in and hope you get your optimal lineups in there tonight. Cheese and Carty are going to go fight over the Max Scherzer projection long deep into the game. We'll see how Scherzer does tonight. The Twitter wars will be raged.
God, when Cesar Hernandez double downs off Scherzer, I'm going to rub it right in your face, Cheese.
I that would be great. I would if he's going to get beat, I hope it's by Cesar Hernandez for sure.
All right, here first. Home run prop call of the night from Carty is Cesar Hernandez, and with that,
please don't hold me to that.
We'll get out of here, and we'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. So for Cheese, for Carty, I'm Cards. Have a great Monday night, everybody. Stay tuned in about a half hour or so. If you're interested in the golf content for this week, we've got the last regular season golf event before the playoffs. Notorious will be joining me for that in about 30 or 45 minutes. So stay tuned for the golf show. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow night for baseball, and have a good evening, everybody.